Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Rush Racing League Awards Night, Season 8, going into Season 9. I am your host, and SJ, and I'm also joined alongside tonight with It's Dino.
Hey mate, how are you?
Good, mate. Had a few technical difficulties, but we got there in the end for a fun-filled night, which technology has been big pain in the ass, I think, most of the season. So, we're there in the end. But what a night. This is always such a good night. This is always a great night to talk to the championships, the constructors, and also some breaking things coming to Rush in Season 9.
Yeah, mate, it is. It's always a good night. Always a good one. Everyone looks forward to see if they get a prize or an award from a picked name from the TPs. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Finally, glad we got it running. But yeah, looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a great night ahead. So, going over to what is on sale tonight. Do apologise, it is a little bit delayed. So here we go. We've got a contents page tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about Season 8. We're going to then talk to the division champions. We're going to then talk to the constructing champions. Then we're going to go through the awards that some of you have decided to choose and handpick this season. And then we're going to go over to the new team principals. And then we are going to announce the calendar. And then we're going to announce you a little sneak peek of the new logo for next season. So Season 8. Great racing, but a lot of drama in the garages, eh?
Yeah, definitely, mate. A little bit too much, I would say. I think everyone's very happy to get rid of that game. It brought out a lot of competitive racing, but a lot of problems as well. And it was a terrible game, and too many issues that we had to deal with. I would say that, it's not good and enjoyable to watch sometimes on the streams when you have to keep chopping out, as you're seeing tonight. This isn't even involving the game, but we just have so much of that that we had to push through. And then the drama in the back, mate. It's always something. But I feel like as bad as it was, it fueled probably a very competitive season in my opinion. Maybe a little bit too much, but overall some great racing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Season 8 did bring a lot of excitement. I think some really, really good new championship winners, well deserved throughout the whole season. And we had some fantastic racing all the way through. I think Division 1 was a pretty standout. Obviously, had a three-way battle there going into the final race of the season. Division 6, a brand new division. It was a bit of a touch and go. A lot of people didn't want it, but we made the decision, and it was actually one of the highest highest viewership of division watched across a 20 race season. So that's really, really good. And also everyone else staying in to the end of the season as well, after obviously Division 1, 3 were all finished pretty early. Well, not early, but like a couple of races to go. And obviously 6 was a great one to see. A little bit of drama at Canada. Sorry, I do apologise. My phone's going off like crazy. But yeah, so obviously a little bit of drama at the end there with the Canadian Grand Prix in Division 6. Obviously Division 4 at China. That went to the wire as well. And I think some people will probably come back for Season 9 with a bit of redemption, Dido.
Yeah, I'd say so, mate. Especially up the top with all the categories. Obviously Merck pretty much dominated this season. No questions asked. What that team do is a great accomplishment for that team. They had no one near them for pretty much a long time. Obviously McLaren were close at the start, was looking really spicy, and then obviously dwindled off in that mid-season. I think if Kick had that little bit of momentum that they had, which was just unseen, a little bit earlier, they could have challenged Merck maybe. But I think the redemption, as far as there's a lot of sides that people want redemption for, I guess you could say, but especially up the top, those top teams that just missed out will be looking. A lot of those TPs are continuing on and looking to probably go for that next step higher. I mean, with especially in my opinion will be one to watch next season with what he did with that team in the later stages. Just massive massive competition on offer next season, and obviously throughout the garages in each division, everyone has their little rival, I guess you could say. Some nicer rivals than others. Some people get along better than the rest, but it's all going to carry on and keep going into the next season, and everyone will probably be in different teams now, obviously. And it all starts again. It just starts a different team, a different chance, I guess you could say. And the redemption could be anywhere. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, your always goal is that top step, the overalls, which Merck got this season. And obviously anyone below that's their own redemption, I guess you could say, to try and knock that off that top step of the ladder. But yeah, man, it was a good one. As far as you didn't really know each race, I guess you could say, bare a few, you didn't really know who the winner was. I mean, Div 3, in my opinion, had some great races, especially up the top. Div 6, like you said, very, very surprising in that division, especially at the start. Mid-season they had some issues, and towards the end, a few too many crashes. But at the start, mate, for a division that most of those guys are fresh on the game, beginners, barely touched the game, to be fair, and do that and have a great night. And that's what the whole idea of that division was, and it's still to this day, to the next season, is our most signed up for division. So yeah, looking forward to the next season, man. Looking forward to getting a lot of this season behind us and starting again, fresh faces. There'll be a lot of new TPs, as we will see soon. New competition. People have experience now that haven't done a TP role. Obviously, now that they've done a season, we'll be bringing a lot of experience with them. So yeah, it'll be a really good one, man. I think everyone's looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that basically just gives you the closing stages of Season 8. Season 8 did bring out some good memories. And I know that people hate the game, but just remember that there's the chance where you got that opportunity to win a championship as well. And I know that the game didn't give us the best it did, but unfortunately we do move on to new journeys, and obviously Season 9 is upon us. It's in the process, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So yep, that is your Season 8 overview. Right, let's go straight into the champions. Remember, all of these slides will be available, so all these slides that you're going to see coming through in a very, very second will be available. So just ask, and yeah, you will receive. So Jake Attack, known as Chandler's, was our Division 1 champion. Jake, you are in with us tonight. Thank you very much for jumping in. What a season you had as a Division 1. Give us a little bit of, after obviously the season's finished now, how do you feel going into a fresher season? Do you feel that you can do it again, or do you feel that you're going to come under extreme pressure going into Season 9?
Oh, the pressure's on. New game, everyone's learning. I can see all my rivals. They're quick. Done some races, pre-seasons, some just fun ones, and all of the guys are very fast. I feel like people who are a little bit lower down, even in Div 1, a little bit slower towards the back potentially, have all gone a lot quicker. And comparatively, I don't think I've gotten worse, but I don't think I've gotten much better comparatively to everyone else. So I don't exactly know where that puts me. But obviously I'm definitely I should have a better start to my season compared to last one. Better half will set me up for the last. But yeah, I need to just be consistent, keep my rivals behind me, and some clear air in front for quality in that.
Yeah, are you nervous going into Season 9 with obviously a little bit of redemption? Obviously, you got Jono, Gully, and obviously a few others as well, which look like they are going to make a return. And we know how quick some of these names are. But you're obviously going to have, you're going to be the defending champion. So how do you feel about that on a new game? Which has changed a lot with the handling in some areas. So how do you feel about that going into Season 9?
Oh, I feel like I've got a lot to do. The new game has brought in a very interesting change of strategy for a lot of tracks. Tire wear is just completely different. It's definitely something new to think about while racing, something else to take your mind off of the road, I suppose. But yeah, it's gonna be difficult with all the guys. Once again, we've got Campbell Adams, I think, for the whole season as a full-time driver. So I think everyone in this, in this Discord in Rush would know his name. I reckon he's probably the quickest driver that I've seen up until now. So if I'm going to make it two seasons in a row, I'm probably gonna have to up my game once again. I need to have a cracking first race of the season and try to carry that momentum through. And then also people like Jono and Alpha Gully, who I was able to dice with in the season that we just finished in 8. They're very quick. I know that Alpha Gully has lots of pace. He gets nerfed a little bit with the fact that his internet's a little bit choppy every now and then. But Jono is an amazing driver. He almost deserved the championship as much as I did. Came down to the last race, so it's all up for grabs for everyone who's racing, I reckon, at the moment.
I see that. Okay. All right. Dino, do you have any questions for Chalice?
I wouldn't say a question. I mean, it could be a question. So obviously, start of last season, Div 1 looked pretty hectic. Obviously, you had all those same names you sort of mentioned at the start, Campbell, all signed up. So the start of the season, man, obviously took off a little bit away from you, in my opinion. Like, obviously, you were getting solid results, but these guys they were just getting away before you could get anywhere near them, pretty much. And then obviously, I feel like, how did you keep your composure through everyone? Obviously, you saw the Div 1 grid change more times than you could count. Driver transfers, everyone swapping. And I think that was the silver bullet for you. You know, you kind of just kept your head down, turned up to every race pretty much, and just always put it in that points as much as you could. So how did you, there's a lot of pressure in Div 1, and I don't think you realize how big of an accomplishment it is winning Div 1. That's the top of our obviously caliber here of 6 divisions. It's a pretty big thing to win. So just tell us a bit about how you kept your composure throughout everything that happened in Div 1 this season, because it was definitely a hectic one in my opinion.
Yeah, it was very hectic in Div 1. Some of the guys like Campbell and Left for Dead, who was there at the start of the season, they left midway. They had other priorities on Saturday nights, I'm assuming. So that ruffled up the grid a little bit, opened up some spots for the podium for a couple of the slower guys. Like myself, I wasn't in contention at all towards the start of the season. But yeah, once again, like you said, I rocked up every week. I did what I could. I practiced. I did a whole lot of practice. The game was just really fun for me. But the biggest thing that sort of helped me keep my eye on every week, just coming, enjoying myself, do it again the week after, was probably after my old TP just sort of dropped us on our heads. The week that it happens, a new guy, I never knew him, Mars and Terrence, they rocked up into Alpine, and they were amazing. I've thanked them so much over my couple of interviews and that, but without them, I wouldn't have known any of what's happening during the race, giving me all the information, changing some of my diff, my brake bias, what's happening ahead, penalties. And I was also helping Terrence, kind of, how do I put it, get into the TP role, because I sort of nominated him when SJ questioned. But it sort of helped me keep my eye on, and I also knew that I had some very, very good people backing me for when the race came.
Yeah, mate, I totally forgot to mention that. Obviously, your team went through a bit of a rocks or two, swappy TPs and stuff. So even adds on to the accomplishment, mate. Very well done. But that's all from me. I'll hand you back to SJ.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, China's mate. Just like to say, yeah, well done on last season. Phenomenal championship, mate, and we wish you all the best. And season 9, wherever you end up, if you're staying with the same team or if you go somewhere else, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye out on you in season 9.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you guys.
And thanks for
Thanks,
jumping in. All right, we will go over to our next one, and this person unfortunately wouldn't be able to make it, so we have got his TP here. What a season this man had! He's come very very close before, and he's had to then come back at it and go again. But this time he took it away. Thunderballs, good evening. You are representing Bevs tonight.
Yep. Good evening.
What a season this man had. Obviously, last season missed out, unfortunately, due to Kalki. This season had a new rival in Yuki, but didn't really come under pressure that much until the last 3 races. And in the end, sailed away with it in very good form.
Yeah, he's just Mr. Consistent. He knows his pace. He knows how to drive. He's a very patient driver, I think, and he knows the races that he can pace and push himself, and knows when to settle back and not cause incidents. I'd say he's probably one of the more well-rounded drivers that I've worked with or seen, to be honest, and he's just always there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the big question is now, do you think he can put it against the Division 1 guys? Because we'll see, it is a bit of a, well, people say it is a little bit of a jump, but sometimes it can. But do you think he's got what it takes to really go up against them now? Or do you think the game may drop him down a bit? He may be in the same division. We don't know yet, obviously, until valuations. But what's your take on the driver himself and Bevs?
He's not racing for a while, so it's hard to say. He's going to Europe, so he's not going to really be touching the game for quite some time. Who knows? Like Chandler said in his interview a little bit earlier, seeing drivers all across the board change their pace, increase speed. I know a lot of guys are turning assists off. Bev's already raced with no assists, so he'll adapt. Whether or not he'll be quicker, is time will tell, but he probably will. He's really good at picking up things and running with it. But we'll have to see when he gets back from holiday.
Definitely. Last question, and I'll pass you over to Dido. Do you believe that sometimes it's beneficial to have that teammate that rocks on the points? And Roller was a massive influence as well for Bevs winning the championship last season.
I mean, that's an obvious question and answer. Like, yeah, it's so good to have a teammate that can stuck on the points. I mean, you saw it with the Div 2 constructors. It was pretty wild, the point score that those two guys got. But yeah, it's definitely helpful. They worked really well together. They were a great team.
No, they did. It was actually a fantastic season for both of them, and well deserved. Dino, I'll pass you over to you.
Yeah, hey, Thunder, how you going, man? SJ pretty much covered. Yeah, cheers, man. SJ pretty much covered everything I was going to say, but obviously Dale, in the team, obviously being a bit of a powerhouse, I'd say he was obviously competing for the championship the previous season, and obviously won it this season. Guess my only question is, obviously you guys, McLaren, and obviously multiple other teams had it as well, but you guys had a fair few of those names that were competing in the championship. So how does that add to the team? I mean, obviously, it's a big plus, but how do the other guys feed off that?
That's a really hard question to answer. I can't really answer for anyone else. I know that most of the drivers in the garage, we had a few come and go. throughout the season for different reasons and whatnot. But everybody, it didn't matter whether they were only in the team for a few weeks or only in the team half the season or in the team the whole season. Most of the guys, we would all get together and practice, and you'd throw ideas, you'd bounce off one another, and just try and improve. Learn different techniques, different racing lines, different styles. Essentially, try different setups. A lot of people. I think when it comes to this game, a lot of people think there's like some sort of cookie cutter setup that you can just use and that's it. But everybody has a different driving style, and the setups kind of cater to the individuals. And so, you find guys that were heaps confident with one setup, and then you do a couple of practice sessions and prove to them that they're much better using a different setup. So it's kind of like a feed thing. Like when you got people like Bevs, Rolla, they were pretty good leaders in that regard to pass down knowledge. And even the Div 3 guys, when we had Marzi, phenomenal teacher and really good leader as far as I'm concerned. And, he'd pass on his knowledge and help guys improve. And it just kind of works its way through the whole team. And then, everybody just starts learning through that, through attrition and helping each other out.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. But yeah, hats off to you for what you did in the end of the season there. Big effort, and obviously Bevs himself, always a pleasure to race with. One of those guys that you sort of, when you see him coming up behind you in the mirror, you're not sort of scared that something's going to happen. So So yeah, hats off to him on a great season. I know he's been trying to get that chip for a while, and he worked hard for it. From outside looking in, obviously you'd know more than that, but hats off to both of you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Awesome. We'll talk with Thunder later on regarding the constructors as well. So we'll see what he has to say regarding Div 2 and Div 6. All right, we'll go over to our next champion in Division 3. Now, this man absolutely did dominate, probably from start to finish. And you know this man very well, Dido, from being your old teammate. Obviously, last season just missed out from probably getting promoted, and a lot of people probably said that should have happened, but it didn't. He did dominate, but he didn't have it easy. Plugger, good evening, my friend. Welcome. Congratulations once again. But yeah, we are going to say you didn't have it easy because you had Whiff Matif to deal with quite a lot, and also then you had a few others that started to jump in as well. So how did you find the championship in the end for you in Division 3?
I thought there was only about one car on the grid, SJ.
You would say
don't know what you're talking about.
That, yeah.
No, it was a good season. There's a few guys, Dido to start with. Some would say he took a very long bath and became very washed for the end of the season. And Whiff didn't take a bath and became very dirty. So he came through and really pushed it, which made it interesting because then you had those two battling as well. So it actually took the pressure off me a little bit because all of a sudden we had Bolts, Dido, and Whiff fighting to get up there, leaving me to pull away and just stay consistent, I guess. And that's all I aimed for throughout the whole season. In all the interviews we did, we talked about, I think I said I was just aiming for top 8, top 6 every race. And yeah, I was just looking back at the stats, 16 top 5s and 20 top 10s from 20 events. So consistency was all I was after, but also really trying to work on racecraft too. Another thing that I was going to say I was quite proud of for myself was no DNFs and no penalty points. So I think that says a lot to me about where or how I've developed as a driver and as a racer. And back in the day, hitting people left, right, and centre from when I first started racing, just because I didn't know how to race. So that's probably what I'm proudest of most.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, going into a new season, I know they're probably not going to see you on the grid for quite some time because obviously it looks like everyone seems to want to go on holiday, which is fair enough. I'm can't take that against you. Going into a different division, and you've probably seen, obviously being in the Mercedes last season, with how competitive it is. How do you feel that you can do on a new game when the time's right, getting into that division? Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be a full-time drive. It could be a full-time drive. It could be. I'm not sure. But how do you feel going into a new division?
Yeah, pretty excited. I mean, I reserved up a couple of times
Holy
last year.
shit.
Hello. Okay. Might need a mute. Yeah, I reserved up a couple of times. It's thrown me there for 6, and did it right. The new game's a little bit harder for me to get into, just because I'm not going to be racing for 9 or 10 weeks. So haven't spent too much time on it. And there's been a lot of talks over traction control and how people are trying to learn no traction, medium traction, and just be honest, I can't be stuffed. So I'll still be full TC, and that'll limit me a little bit. But I think the couple of leagues that I race for have the tiers and different divisions, which means that I don't really care. Like, as long as I'm competitive in whatever division I'm in, then I'm happy. So yeah, I look forward to racing some of these guys and watching them. Watching them also perform well and get better in time. So excited for that, and excited to hopefully see less bugs, meaning people, get disconnected or lose races when they shouldn't. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, I will pass you over to Dino.
Thanks. It took the question from out of SG, but Plug and Mate, obviously, great season. Look, top of the charts. Obviously, the season before wasn't too shabby either. Williams, it was actually pretty competitive in the end there. You and Lamb up at the top, won the constructors. So obviously looked pretty promising heading into this season. I don't know if you would have expected to be as dominant as you were. Like SJ said, you didn't have it easy, but I don't know if you were expecting that. But in the end, with Whiff, I mean, going toe to toe with him, it was a different type of beast racing with, obviously. So we'll touch a bit on that. I mean, you had both kicks pretty much to verse. I was like you said, washed for 90% of the season. So like the two kicks, obviously dealing with two teammates. Angus, your teammate, was up there as much as he could, but he was sort of, like you said, trying to battle those guys to get up there, like you said. But how did you? I mean, it always looked like you were just in complete control. I know you probably were not. It's screaming, like you've had said multiple times to your engineer. But just tell us a little bit about, like, obviously you had multiple drivers challenge you, and you always seem to stay on the top step. Just brush it
well, I wouldn't say you'll watch the whole season, Dito. I'm just thinking maybe since when I just recall when I punted you off at Hungary. No, Brazil. From about
we
then.
didn't report that, mate. So
No, I just thought about that. I probably should have had a license point there, but play on. No, they're very fast, and they worked very well together, the two kicks. And to be fair, before in the first start, I think one of the reasons you were doing so well was because your teammate in Daniel T was also performing really well. When I'd say when he sort of stepped away, that's sort of when. Can you mute yourself, please? Thanks, mate. It's happened again. Anyway, this is my line, my spotlight. Thanks, mate. Not yours. So they work together really hard. Can someone mute him? Because that would be great.
Yeah, he's muted.
Oh, not in here though.
Oh, I can't hear him. Maybe it's just for me.
I'll mute him on my end. There we go. I can't hear him. So they work together really well, and that meant that they were always putting pressure on me because the second car in bolts or Whiff was always trying to get in front and then let the other run away, and you kind of had to just knuckle down and focus on your own race, and that's probably what I did best was being smart around when I needed to overtake, when I needed to get in front, and when I could actually just sit behind and save some battery. And that converted into a lot of seconds and firsts from the last few laps. I think there was a couple of races where I was third the whole way, and then dropped back, saved battery, and came through at the end and won, just from staying out of trouble and doing the right things there. So it made it very hard. And Angus really did really well for me in terms of communicating what was going on behind, knowing that when he was behind me, I wasn't going to get attacked, and doing his best there. And his development was great to see as well. So yeah, great to have a teammate like him, and been voice chat with him every week. So it was good.
Yeah, mate, it was a great season. Not for just you, but your team, and obviously you reserving up. Div 2 had some great hires as well. I think you got a podium in Div 2, if I'm not wrong, or maybe 2. Somewhere possibly.
Yeah, I won one of the races in Div 2.
Yeah, so that's a big hire.
Baku, I think.
Yeah, which obviously stands for itself, Baku being Baku. But yeah, that I guess could sum up your season, just always being prepared for what can happen. And you always sort of had the right response with your battery management and everything. So personally, racing you was very, very hard.
I'll take
Neverlands, Neverlands, for example, when I led the whole race and you passed me on the last corner, very frustrating. It is what it is. But yeah, looking forward, obviously, if you can, when you get back from your holiday and stuff and seeing you back on the track, it'd be very cool to see you back out there and see what you can do, mate. So looking forward to that.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, and we'll be talking to Plugger, obviously, a little bit later on, as he is representing the PEP and for the constructors and overalls as well. So we'll talk to him later on. Okay, we'll go over to our next one, and I'll let you take this one away after I do the intro, Dido, because you commentated most of these races. This was a man that came into Division 4, actually one of my engineers in another league. Great engineer, I've got to say. Done phenomenal when he jumped in. Didn't run away with it, though, on time, but was very, very quick and very consistent. And what a season, Cooper Bot, mate, you had. And I will pass you over to Dido.
Yeah, Cooper, mate. Obviously joining in, and pretty much as soon as you got in, it was all hands on deck. I think you pretty much got a podium as soon as you joined, and it was pretty much all highs from there. Except when it rained. In my opinion, from watching, that was your downfall. Just didn't have that rapid pace that you did in the dry compared to the wet. And but yeah, mate. I mean, from your perspective, how is the season? I mean, I've talked to you a lot in the comms box after the races. So yeah, just sum up this season for you, mate.
Oh yeah, it was a very good season. As you point out, I hate the rain. It's terrible. I'd never want to see it again, but maybe we'll pop up from time to time. The season. It kind of found it as a 2-horse race. Both Mercs just were too washed at the end to keep up with us. So it was more of a 2-horse race between myself and Ricciardo. And yeah, was able to take it home, which was very good for the team. And yeah.
Yeah, mate. Obviously, Ricciardo had an absolute stellar start to the season. Looked like the favourite pretty much until you arrived on the scene. And then it was you two turning off pretty much the season end. Obviously, he got a bit unlucky, a few disconnects. Also, that DNF late in the season really hurt his championship perspective. So yeah, just, as Ricciardo, you guys went side to side together. Would you say he was your biggest competitor? Obviously, with the points he was, but on track as well, toe to toe when you were going. Pretty much 90% of your overtakes were with Ricciardo. So just tell us a little bit about how it was like racing him, because he'll be moving up next season, I think, as well as you. So just tell us a little bit about your rivalry with him.
Yeah, it's very good rivalry. It was always very respectful. I think we had like one collision at time. But apart from that, it was very solid, clean racing. So yeah, to him for that. And yeah, it was just a lot of clean battling. Fortunately, one of the Mercs should have showed up, but he was too washed and only saw one race at China. And yeah,
Well, fair enough, man. Well, hats off for me. Obviously, it was a pleasure to watch you race on the track. I did like when it rained a little bit because it meant a few of the other guys had a chance to battle you. But yeah, all the best moving into next season. I think you're moving up, obviously, as well as Ricciardo. So we'll be looking forward to seeing if you can take the chip in the next one up. That'd be a very big accomplishment. Obviously, I think Ekotzi is only one of the only ones that have done that so far down in Div 4. I could be wrong. So yeah, that would be a goal for you. Yeah. So that'll be a goal for you next season, mate. Get the double championship in a new division.
so yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. No worries. Thanks, mate. I'll hand you over to SJ.
Yeah, Cooper. Obviously, I passed it over to Dido because Dido was obviously in the comms most of the season in Division 4. But you had a serious, he's touched base on it a little bit, serious competition with the Astons. What did they do for you for pressure-wise in most of your races when you were racing them? Because even though you didn't have the teammate at the start off with, and then obviously you got Grizz at a later date, was it tough? Was it tough? Was it hard work dealing with the Astons every week?
Oh yeah, it was a very painful time. Every time I had to battle him, especially with not just one, but like when Mastersuck also was there when he didn't have internet issues and he was very quick as well. So it kind of made it very stressful to deal with not just one but two of them. But yeah, very good racing.
Good evening, everyone.
It's been a fantastic season. Do you when you jumped in, did you believe that you had the opportunity to win the season at that time, or was it just enjoy yourself, score points? Did you ever think that you had a chance of winning the championship?
Not at the start, I didn't believe so. I knew I had the pace to beat Pep, who at the time was the championship leader, but yeah, after the first race at Portugal, he turned into pretty much wholly washed for like 90% of the rest of the season. So it's easy to get past him and then just focus on the two Astons.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. And going into obviously next season, a different division. How are you feeling? Are you feeling confident in yourself? Are you feeling that the new game is making you quicker? Are you slower? Like, how do you feel going into a new season?
I feel a bit quicker. Starting to move over to manual gears now, which has been a very handy tool. Been testing me a bit because I keep breaking two lanes with people, but yeah, it's been very good. I feel fast, but I mean we'll have to see what happens in the pre-season races.
Yeah, will definitely be one to look out for. And honestly, you gave us so much entertainment in Division 4, and you must have enjoyed it in there because it seemed to be a great division and having the battles every week. Obviously, with Pep and Ricardo and Mastersuck and Dynasty and a few others, and obviously there's quite a few drivers in there as well. So going into a different division, you're obviously going to have different competition to battle up against.
Yeah, I don't know who the person was because I didn't properly hear it, but yeah, it'd be very good to move up to difference, see who will challenge me.
Yeah, no, and like Adido said, you could be another one that's won the double. Obviously, Kotze won Division 5 and then 4 straight in a row in 2 seasons. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on you in the evaluations. But no, congratulations on a very well won season, and we look forward to seeing what happens in season 9.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Okay, right. We will head over to Division 5, and this is probably the youngest winner that we have had. This person has probably cost Mercedes an absolute extortion amount of money for front wings. But then, when the time came right and the guys decided to spend a bit of time with him, he started to become a prospect, and he turned into be a fantastic driver and a very, very well-deserved winner in Division 5. Vettel, mate, good evening, and welcome to Awards Night.
Good evening, SJ. I'm glad to be here, and I did break a lot of front wings this year, and I'm not looking forward to it.
You've probably been one of the most vocal people since you've won the championship. Has it sunk in yet? Because I know you're quite young, and it is a big thing, and it is hard to win in all leagues. You know, you do drive against different drivers, that different attributes, different racecraft across all leagues. So obviously you're here in Division 5. You won it, and it was a very, very stacked grid to start off with. So give us a little bit of a rundown from the start to the end of your season.
So yeah, it was a very tough grid. I think by round 10, I think round 9, that was Australia. I was down by 40 points. I was in like 5th. So it was a hard comeback I had to do. Obviously, I think whatever Bahrain was, every race before Bahrain, which I think was round 5 or 6, I broke front wing. So yeah, it wasn't great. I was getting a lot of yelling, a lot of DMs from other Mercedes blokes. It wasn't fun, but after Bahrain, I locked in. You know, I won that race, and I think that was turning point. I said, you know what, you need to win. If I was to win, I need to lock in. So I think I got a podium in about 14 something races, something like that. I can check, but overall, very good season. Fun fact, I gained 100 points in the span of 8 races. So I'm very proud of that. Obviously, there was a few drivers that didn't show up when they needed to, and there was times. I want to say thank you to Tudor. Me and him had such a great season. If it wasn't for hardware issues such as disconnects and things like that, and I'm sure there was a few weird throttle problems that I think he had, but other than that, me and him had a great season, and I do want to thank him. I want to thank the Mercedes team that helped me out so much. If it wasn't for them, wouldn't have won, wouldn't have got near it. And of course, I want to thank Tyler, my teammate. He did some missions and it was amazing, and he helped me out. He did the role as a second driver amazing.
Yeah, and we know that Tyler has obviously been in division with myself for quite a while, and it's now his time to obviously move up. And obviously definitely worked fantastic together, and your teammate obviously helped you in some areas of the season, especially engineers as well. And also going with Tudor, do you believe that maybe a few more races we could be talking a different story here, because he did really, really perform the second half of the season? He was phenomenal in some of his races.
Oh yeah, he was catching me. I know Maddie was close there, but I honestly thought Tudor was a bigger threat. He was probably quicker than all of us. If it wasn't for the luck I got mid-season with a lot of podiums in a row, like I think from Bahrain to Texas was all podiums. I might have missed 1 or 2, but it was really good. A really good mid-season. I think that's what just carried the momentum over to finish the season strong. Yeah, definitely. Give it maybe 5 more races or 6 more races, Tudor would have won it.
Do you believe now, going into Division 4, how do you feel that you're going to go? Because obviously you are a champion, and obviously we don't know. The question's been asked a lot: is these divisions, are these roles, are they temporary, or are they going to stick in with? We're obviously seeing how things go with the evaluations, but how do you feel about your pace and your experience in Division 5 now going over to Division 4?
Well, I'm going to do the opposite of Plugger. I can be stuffed learning no traction, so I've been learning that. You've seen in the socials, I've been learning it. I have been trying. I have been very tempted to turn it off. It is very hard, but I'm sure once I get the hang of it, I'll be quick. So I'm doing a lot of practice, more than needed, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Division 4. Maybe, I don't think so, but maybe back-to-back. It's in the back of my head. We'll keep it in mind. But yeah, I know the Div 4 grid is stacked, and I'm really looking forward to have some good battles.
Okay, good. I love the confidence, and obviously you've been fantastic in Division 5. We'll definitely be missed. I'll be missing to race you, and I wish you all the best going into Season 9 in a new division, and I'll pass you over to Dida.
Appreciate it, SJ.
Yeah, Vettel, mate. Welcome to the stream. Obviously, SJ again, a fair bit of it, but You said you obviously had a bit of a rusty season with some wings and stuff early on. In saying that, though, you only finished out of the top 15 4 times in total. So, obviously, I watched a lot of your races with streaming on Div 5 and stuff. Well, it looks like your biggest rival was Tudor, like you said. He had one more DNF than you. Like you said, the disconnects probably decided his fate early on, in a sense. But looking forward into the next season, obviously, a lot of these guys that you battled with moving up with you. So who do you think early on this season? Obviously, very hard to tell. But who do you feel like your biggest rival is moving into next season?
I still think Tudor. Me and him are very close on pace, even if we're mid pack. I know. I'll admit I've stolen a bit of his time trial setups, but you know what? Overall, we're pretty quick together. Who knows? We could be teammates, but we are very quick. We're very even on pace, and run it back. Even if it's for mid pack, even if it's for like P7 or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was a pleasure to watch you race this season. You always had some great battles on track, especially with Tudor, like you said, and Maddie early on in the season as well. So hats off, mate, to you and your team again. And yeah, I'll hand you back over to Stu.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Like I said, Vettel, congratulations, mate. Look forward to seeing what you can do in season 9, and if you've got that confidence that you've had, let's see if you can go back to back.
Who knows?
We'll find out. All right. Right, we'll go over to another man. Now, this man, well, what can we say about this man, eh? He's been wanting to win a championship for a very long time. And it looked like it was a 3-horse open race, then a 4, then a 5, and then it dropped back to a 3. But he did have Iraq Lobster and Thunderballs to deal with, and he didn't have it easy. He went away for 2 days, Thunderballs went away, and they always were kept messaging Iraq if he wanted to race, so he could just hand him the title. But unfortunately, Iraq Lobster didn't like the game, but was obviously pushed to race anyway because of his brother. And in the end, it went down to the last race of the season, and what a race it was. It's not a race that you really want. You want both guys to go at it, hell for leather. And it wasn't looking in the best interests of this driver at all, as he actually sent it into the wall and nearly DNF'd himself, and had to make himself all the way from P8, or I think it went down to P12, back up to P1, because his nemesis was in P3 in Iraq Lobster. But unfortunately, Iraq Lobster then decided to go alley-oop across one of the curbs in Sector 1, ended up in the wall. Then Edge, all he needed to do was finish the race. And he did. He drove like an old man for the rest of the race, decided to pit, get the soft lap, and get the fastest lap, and take the championship. Edge, welcome to the stream, and welcome to Awards Night.
Cheers, mate. That was a bit of a long intro, but cheers for that.
It's a bit of an overview, isn't it, how it went?
Yeah, although I will correct you on one thing, because I did watch the stream back. I actually got into an incident with Iraq Lobster, and he actually ended up almost spinning me into the wall.
Ooh.
It wasn't caught on stream, but there was an incident between me and Iraq.
Well,
But it was fair game. But yeah,
second nature now, unfortunately, because he did DNF. But let's talk a little bit about from the start to the end of the season. You've stated to me in previous conversations that it's taken you a long time, and you wanted to win a championship and probably go out with a bang and retire and whatever. And you've done that. You've won the championship. Didn't have it easy though. You had 2 drivers. And a few others we'll not forgot to mention, and we got the Sick Party, J-Man, and also China as well. But the 3 main ones was obviously yourself, Thunderballs, and Iraq Lobster. Just give us a bit of an overview of how it was to battle those 2 other guys in Division 6.
Yeah, look, it's probably not fair to just say that obviously it was myself, Datura, and Thunderballs. Obviously, that's how the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. But it wasn't just us 3 battling. It was everyone in the division. I mean, you had White Wolf who got a win. You had J-Man who got a win. David got a win. Sick Party got 3. Obviously, China was the driver who got the most wins. But unfortunately for all of them, it's not about wins; it's about the consistency, and that's just kind of what we worked on at Mercedes. And it was just less about go for the win and more about just finishing the top 5. And I think my lowest position was actually China, or not China, was Canada. But before that race, I hadn't finished outside the top 6. So it was less of go for the win and more of just try to stick with them. And eventually we got it. And yeah, I've won a championship. So time to leave it.
What's the biggest the worry? Obviously, Division 6 of mixed pace. Some guys obviously just learning the game and getting the racecraft. Was that a little bit of a worry for you, or were you feeling that I was mainly going to be in the top 10 in qualifying most of the races? Did you have a little bit of a worry because of that? Because if you do get caught up in that, sometimes it can be catastrophic. It can be a pain, you're losing time. We saw you obviously in the Canadian race, or if it was one of the races, you were losing a lap every time you were stuck behind this one. And I think it was actually Ranieri, actually. You were behind Ranieri and you couldn't get past, and you were losing a second and a half every time to obviously Iraq Lobster. How do you deal with that in an environment that you need to be at the front?
Well, again, it's less about need, right? Because we've raced these guys for 20 races, right? I kind of know how everyone works. I knew how Thunderbolts was driving. I knew how Iraq was driving. So it was less about what's going on in front of me to what's going on with those guys. What's the battles they're in? How can I benefit from what's going on with them? And then the only time I think I was shocked this season was when that final race, when Iraq was just out of the race. That was the only time that I actually had to step back and go, what's just happened? Because you know how everyone drives. I think the best example of that is J-Man and myself. We drive very similar. When something happens, your head goes. And it's that famous quote of everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And unfortunately for everyone else, Mercedes had my back, and we just relaxed. We got back into that rhythm, and we were just able to smash it.
Yeah, and you did. And going back, how do you feel in yourself? That's obviously you have goals, you have attributes in life, and you've obviously passed one of them. Is there an opportunity to see you go the next step? Try and win the double, go to the next division, and push yourself even more, or is that it? I'm going to take a break. I'm done. I'm happy with the championship. We'll see what happens in 2026.
Guess you have to stay tuned to find out.
Okay. Well, a little bit of suspense there. All right. Well, on that note, I will pass you over to Dido if he's got any questions for you.
Yeah, hey Edge, mate. Obviously watched a lot of your races too in comms and stuff. I guess the only question I had for you is that obviously Canadian race. We'll go back to that race. What were you feeling at that start? Obviously being at the back, seeing your championship rival right up the top, you pretty much dead last, 5 seconds off the back of the grid. It's pretty easy to feel like it's all over from there. So how did you, I guess you just had to keep going in the sense, but just tell us a little bit how you were feeling in that time, because it would have been pretty hectic.
Yeah, look, there was obviously that initial anger of like, God damn it, what's happened? And obviously, because it is an incident with the person that I'm facing, and look, all's fair in love and war. I wouldn't have raced it I wouldn't have wanted him to race any not harder than he did. And look, hats off to him, man. He took it to the end of the championship, and he actually did something really selfless. Whether or not it was because he just didn't want to race or something, but he actually took Silverstone off so that it was fair for himself, myself, and Thunderball, so that we all did 18 races exactly. So it was a fair base of pace there. So hats off to him for that. But yeah, that final race, you're kind of just sitting there. Obviously, Mexico tied it, and then it was just, I just need to beat him. That's all I need to do. Thunderballs was essentially out of it. He had to win with fastest lap with both myself and Tora not finishing, which I'm sure there was probably a glimmer of hope that he had. when I was down in 14th and I was battling Ranieri. But that first 9 laps was lock in, get past as many drivers as we could. And at that point, we were kind of just pick it off one by one. Don't do stupid moves. Don't get wing damage. Don't do any of that. And just go through the field. Which we got there until the McLaren driver showed up and decided to almost make it a living hell. But then safety car came out and we just pit because at that point we knew all we had to do was finish.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. You did a stellar job all throughout the season. It was a bit of a rocky one for you. Had some big crashes actually involved with yourself, obviously. Really, and that can really sway the way the championship goes. But it all came in your lap, and yeah, great job, mate. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back on track eventually, whenever that is.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Sorry, yeah, yeah. I'll be back on track eventually at some point.
Sweet as, mate. Enjoy, and we may be circling back to you a bit later. But until now, have a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, well done again, Edge. Great season. Obviously gave us a lot of entertainment. You Thunderballs, J-Man, Sick Putty, China, Datura, the list goes on. Obviously, I'm very impressed in Division 6 compared to obviously what we thought it was going to be, what you actually brought us on Tuesday nights every week. People keep saying Monday, was it main event Mondays or Tuesday main events or Friday main events? But Tuesday was definitely a good main event, and I enjoyed commentating it and I enjoyed watching in the action. And well done, mate. Well deserved.
Cheers, mate. They may say main event Monday, but it's definitely PLE Tuesday. So
There you go. Well, there you go. We can make that up as a new abbreviation to Tuesday nights. Awesome. I just want to say a massive congratulations to all of you, all the champions. Like I said, if you do want the graphic, let me know. Flick me a DM and I'm happy to send it to you. Thank you very much for participating. Cooper Bot, you're more than welcome to leave. I do need a few of you on because we're now going to go over to the constructors. We will go through these a little bit quicker as we did spend a bit of time talking to you guys, but we really wanted to hear what your thoughts were on the season, and we wish you all the best in season 9. Right, let's head over to constructors, and we've got the first constructors in here, which is Ferrari, and the person that took this over is Flubber. So good evening, Flubber, and you have your driver in here as well as Jono.
Hey guys, yeah, thanks. I took over pretty late, to be honest, so definitely have to thank Franz for this constructors. If he's watching, hopefully he's watching. Thanks, Franz, for it all. Jono will probably want to say a few words about it all as well, but yeah, definitely a Franz constructed this one, so definitely to him this win. So.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to talk a little bit about it because obviously you were in the same team as Jono and obviously Sammy that won the Division 1. What's it like to have a driver of that caliber in your team? And do they bring extra vibes, like extra motivation, like training, practice, like help on other things? Like what has Jono and Sammy done for the team? As if they've just won. We know they've won the Division 1 constructors, but what else do they bring to the party?
Yeah, well, with Sammy, I've spoken to him a fair few times. He's jumped into engineer for us in the lower divisions. He's helped with like in a race, just with strat or anything like that. Jono's helped as well with jumping in like on race nights, just talking about strat, just making sure we're all good as well. So they've helped in their own ways. But hey, any help's good help. So and it's all helped. Getting us wins, I guess. So
yeah, no, and obviously Jono's in here. Jono, obviously going back now, obviously season's done. Hard graft, but well deserved. And obviously, what's your take of being the constructors champions of Division 1?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a very big achievement. Something that I kind of strive for, especially if I'm, even though I lost the drivers battle between Chandlers, it was very good to secure that constructors, just to show that me and Sammy are a force to be reckoned with. So it's going to be very interesting next season as well, to see if Sammy wants to race next season. I think he does. I'm not too sure, but whoever I have as a teammate, we'll work together and try it again, and I reckon we can do it.
Yeah, you actually might have to pass that message on to him, mate, because he's not currently signed up, and it would be great to see, obviously, you two at it again, even if you're at it against each other. But no, obviously, an absolute fantastic season you had in Division 1. Obviously, Division 1 has changed throughout the seasons. This season was probably one of the best seasons we've had for a long time. Even though we did get hit quite hard with a few drivers leaving and doing other things. We still managed to put fantastic races on and a three-way battle. And we're going to take that to you, Flubber. How did you feel about the three-way battle between Gully, Jono, and Chandler's going into the last couple of races of the season?
Yeah, from a team point of view, it was a bit stressful, but you just have to back your drivers. Obviously, Jono's a pretty good driver, would say. So you just have to back them and let them do what they need to do, really. So.
Okay, nice to see that. And Jono, what would you do differently if you had to rewind the clock?
Probably a few more races and probably join at the start of the season next time. So that's what I'm going to do next season.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Attendance does catch you up a little bit because you think, I can't be bothered, or I don't know. People's commitments change, but then you think, bugger, if I didn't miss that, I could have won that, and I could have, it could have been a bit different. So it's all what ifs, unfortunately. And no, it's going to be an absolute pleasure to see where you end up next season. If you end up staying with Ferrari, whoever that TP is, which we'll find out later on tonight, obviously, which is the breaking news, who we do announce all the TPs. And Flubber, I just want to say a massive congratulations to you. Obviously, you've got a sort of a constructors under your belt as well, being half TP and half driver. And also a massive congratulations to Franz as well. And I look forward to seeing what you both can do next season, what team that is. And I'll pass you over to Dido if he's got any questions.
I'll still be in Ferrari.
You're not supposed to whisper
yeah.
mate.
Yeah, well, I don't really have many questions for John other than obviously a massive congratulations joining mid-quarter into the season and doing what you did was a great effort, mate. So hats off, and I can't wait to see what you do next season. But Flubber, mate, obviously walking into a team at the start of the season is hard enough, but doing it pretty much, I think it was about 8 rounds or something out of the end of the season, maybe a bit later. That's a huge ask, and especially a team that has a lot of caliber drivers and obviously a lot of demand. So how did you do that, mate? How did you obviously piece the puzzle together and obviously secured the Div 1 constructors and got the guys to all get around you, mate? Because obviously it was a big shock, but at the same time, Franz wasn't out of the scene. He just couldn't. I think he mainly wanted to get you trained up. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts, mate. What you walked into and how you got through all that.
Everyone was a pretty good help. So Franz just didn't disappear. So he was always around if needed any questions. So which is always good. So it's not like I'm walking into a puzzle that didn't have any pieces. It was pretty much already put together and done. So all you had to do is just put the last little piece in the middle, essentially, and it was there. So everyone was already in full swing. So just had to pretty much maintain it, really, essentially. So
yeah, mate. Well, obviously not sure who the TPs are, but obviously it'll be good to see on the track regardless. A little bit off this topic with the constructors, your own driving obviously is a great accomplishment. You had a great few results there, a few dominant ones too. So it'll be looking forward to seeing how you go next season, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, like with it all. I could end up in Div 5, Div 6, who knows, or could work my way up. You never know, but it's going to be interesting to see where everyone falls in, and yeah, it should be some good fun, really.
Yeah, mate. It all starts obviously Friday with the evals, and looking forward to it, mate. So unless that's it for SJ, I think that's it for me. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the show, and yeah, look forward to seeing what you can do in season 9, both of you.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you.
All right. We'll head over to our next one, and we've got both actually, Driver and TP, in here as well. Bevs and Thunderballs. Bevs, we'll go with you first. What a bit of a power couple with you and MJ. We spoke earlier to Thunder about obviously your achievement this season, winning the championship, but obviously taking the constructors as well and taking the double. That's obviously got something to be very happy about, because that's now 2 seasons in a row that McLaren have done that.
We've had pretty good teams in Div 2 for the most part, and we kept consistent, got good results, so can't really complain.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, isn't it? Really, best with you.
Pretty much, yeah.
And obviously, you had the teammate of Roller, who obviously had his moments. Was playing some of the tickets and some bit of rivalries on track. But when you two, worked together, you worked very, very well. You knew what you needed to do, and obviously that was behind the team in itself. Obviously, I don't know if Thunderballs was giving you orders behind the scenes. You guys really know what to do. What makes it a victorious partnership? What are the ingredients that you need to have when you're driving?
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, the consistency pretty much did a lot of the work for us. Obviously, attending as many races as we could and getting good results with that. I attended all of them, and I think MJ only missed 2. So that's a good start. And then Thunder didn't really give us too many instructions. Was there when he wasn't away on his cruise, he was there every night engineering for us, but he didn't give us too many instructions. He let us run the pace and do what we wanted, but if we started getting a bit out of control, he would be quick, smart, and sorting us out.
Yeah, no, definitely. And obviously 2 seasons in a row, and we're going to go over to Thunder. Thunder, obviously, these 2 drivers of Bevs and MJ, obviously you've got to be extremely proud, and obviously 2 seasons in a row that McLaren have won the Constructors in Division 2. That just shows you that there's a bit of a how do I say, what's the word I'm after? A bit of a cycle starting to happen.
Yeah. I mean, the new season's going to change things up quite a bit, but yeah, like I said before, and in other interviews in regards to Bevs and Rolla, like they're a great team and they bounce well off of each other. And there's as Bev said just a few moments ago, like there's really not much you need to say. I think the only times that I really had to intervene were, how do I put it, heated on track moments were happening, and just a bit of a refocus. But yeah, I mean they're a powerhouse combo, and they just work so well with each other. They recognize what each other's going to do. They know what each other's going to do, and they make accommodations for it. And it just shows. They elevate each other.
What do you think, if there was anything that needed to be changed between the 2 of them, what do you think you would change as a TP?
That's a tough one, man, because like the honest answer is nothing, right? Like if I were to sit down and critique it and nitpick completely, I mean, probably have Bevs at more practices just to help everyone out. I mean, he popped on when he could, but nothing, man. You can't fault the guys. Like I'm sorry, but you can't. As far as the garage is concerned, they put in the work, the effort. They brought the pace week in, week out. Sure, they were caught up in some incidents, which some were pretty questionable. But yeah, other than that, everything was all pretty good as far as I'm aware.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll pass you over to Dino if he's got any questions for you or Bevs.
Yeah, I mean, we touched a little bit earlier on this anyway with Thunder, but Bev's made obviously season. We said before, you always sort of have the right sort of race trim strategy, I guess you could call it, in mind. You always seem to be in the right places at the right time, and like I said earlier, one of those guys that you're not really scared of when you come up behind them, because you're not gonna. You're just a sensible driver in a sense. So, do you obviously you're going away on a holiday next season, and then maybe joining mid sort of season like player. Obviously, we'll be in Div 1. I would say the pace is like, you wouldn't jump at it and say it's a Div 1 pace, but do you feel like, your race awareness and obviously the experience now from this season, which you were involved in a lot of heated racing and a lot of close racing all season, to be fair, and you rarely didn't come out on top. So do you feel that you can carry that into a higher division whenever you do go into it, and possibly do well than you think?
No. Simple answer is no. It happened with other leagues where I was in Div 2 and drivers said I was too quick or I'd won championships and I got moved up. And when I went into Div 1, it was night and day difference. I was at the back by a country mile, even with the same sort of driving style. I don't really have the time to put in to practice week in, week out to sort of get better. And considering that once I get back from a holiday, everyone's going to be on a few weeks worth of practice and hours upon hours on game time where I have to catch up and get used to the new driving style and game mechanics. I think I'll be a step too far behind to really make a bit of an impact. But obviously, see what happens. I haven't signed up anywhere yet, so we'll decide on what the plan is once I get back from holiday.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Okay, well, do you have what would you say your highlight race of the season this season? Was your highlight?
Yeah, look, a lot of the races were close. Obviously, the ones where you win are always good. I think the first one that jumps out is probably Singapore, with the last lap battle with Shifty, where it came down to the wire, and a little bit of controversy at the last sort of lap, but that was a good bit of fun. And a lot of the races where it was close at the front was always good, even if the results didn't sort of go my way. The racing was always close, and I think the season as a whole was a fairly good highlight of driving, apart from a few moments here and there. But for the most part, I think that the season as a whole was a good one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You hit the nail on the head there, and yeah, mate. Well, that's it for me. And obviously, I spoke to Fund earlier, but yeah, for me, mate, it was a pleasure to watch your race for the streams that I did watch. Yeah, and obviously, we'll hopefully see you eventually back on the track whenever that is.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Cheers,
yeah, I'll just go off from that. Bevs, yeah, what a season, mate. Obviously, we'll be missed to not see you on in the evals and racing at the moment. So, look forward to seeing when that time comes and where you're at. And have a great time abroad. You're going to Europe, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm from London, so I know what Europe's like. You'll have a great time. There's a lot of places to sightsee and visit. And yeah, when you come back, mate, look forward to seeing where you end up. And once again, thanks for giving us entertainment every week. And you'll be sorely missed on the grid, I'm sure, by most of the drivers as well. They love racing you. And I'm sure Haydo will miss you as well. So keep getting your slipstream.
No, he cheated on me at the end. Started going towards the Mercs and the Williams, so I'll let it slide though.
That bromance has disappeared. Okay. All the best, Bevs.
Cheers, mate.
All right, we'll go over to Division 3. We'll make these pretty quick because obviously Mercedes did win quite a few of these. Plugger, you're representing Pep on this one. And we've really touched a little bit on. We'll give you a little bit of talking to about it. But great partnership that you had with Angus that got it over the line. But the Kicks took it to you, didn't they, all season?
The overalls, overalls or constructors. The constructors wise, that was pretty tight for Div 3. Certainly gave us a run for our money, and I hope Angus is listening. He needed to lift his game. He's sort of trailing behind at the start of the season, and then last third especially, he's put in, or it seemed to be that just was getting a lot more consistent, which was really good to see for him. And hopefully I had some help in doing that. But he also, for example, started engineering Div 5 when he could, if we needed him to. So maybe that helped too. So really, really big thanks to him. And obviously thanks to Pep as well. He did most of the engineering for us for Div 3. So he did a really good job there and had to put up with my sprays left, right, and centre, yelling at the game and screaming at the screen. I can get pretty into it. Like to be pretty competitive, so appreciate him putting up with that, and Angus as well for putting up with listening to me. So, but yeah, Div 3, we just did really well. Turned up. I don't think Angus might have missed one race. So, we turned up to 39 events. I think that sort of is one of the main reasons we got to where we got to.
Yeah, and you're right. And obviously we're talking about John earlier, and he said attendance is a big thing, and obviously that is the main thing. There's actually a few drivers, unfortunately, didn't do a full 20 races, and it does make a massive difference sometimes. But no, it was great. It was a great battle to watch throughout. It looked like it was going to be Williams at start off with. It looked like it was going to be between you, Williams. They had a very, very good start. Obviously, things changed. And then obviously Kit came along and Boltsaru came along, and he started to put in some very, very good performances. And it went to the last race of the season, which is always great to see. Well, actually, last two races of the season. And it was a great battle. It was a great battle each week. It was either you or Kick. And then a few, obviously, drivers. I mean, Kaya got a win, and then Roshan got some good points as well, and then a few others, and Dita was up there. So, yeah, really, really good to see. I will pass you over to Dita if he's got any questions for you.
Yeah, Plugger made obviously touched on this pretty earlier about Div 3, but both yourself and Angus did a stellar job. I obviously raced both of you on track. Obviously, like you just touched on consistency. Like you said, you had multiple different teams. It could have been up there with the constructors. Obviously, myself and Williams could have been. Unfortunately, that didn't go to plan. So, do you feel like the key factor? I mean, obviously, your pace and the results you had a monumental season and driver champion and everything like that. So obviously that contributed, and Angus's performances. But do you feel like it was definitely down to the attendance and point bank period that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it helped the season I had, really. Like, I put a lot of points on the board there, so that certainly helped give us that buffer. But you look at, for example, Kaio and Roshan, like if they had been there the whole season, they probably would have won it. And same for you with Daniel. If he had raced the whole season, then, it's a different story again. So it does come down to turning up, and we're lucky at Merck where we had really strong drivers in all divisions. So if Angus or I couldn't race, then we had the backup of a Pep or a Wash Dynasty. So yeah, we had options there, and it was likewise for say Div 2 for me going up. So it certainly helps to have your drivers there, but it helps as well to have your backup drivers ready to go at all times to help out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll touch on a bit about obviously your team as a whole strengths a bit soon when we talk about the overalls. But yeah, as far as Div 3, mate, I mean, yeah, I don't really know other say other than it was probably a picture perfect season for you guys. I think Angus, the improvement for me watching him drive, like obviously driving next to him all season was very big. Like you said at the start of the season, struggled a bit in my opinion, and obviously complete different driver by the end of it. And that comes from obviously what we'll talk about later, but just the team environment, who your teammate is, everything like that. So hats off to you guys, and go and enjoy it, because it doesn't go away. It'll be permanent in the Rush books. So well done, boys.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, well, obviously, to go back to Plugger after Division 4. So, we'll touch base with you then, Plugger, because obviously you are representing Prep tonight. So you are the whole voice of tonight's stream, mainly. So we'll touch base with you soon. All right, we'll go over to the next one, and these two were a powerhouse, Ricciardo and Mastersuck, and it was looking. It was going to be Mercedes, and we'd be having this conversation with Plugger. But these Astons came out the middle of nowhere, and they just performed each week and were consistent in the top 5 every week. Wonton, you had 2 golden tickets there, didn't you, really? And Mastersuck and Ricciardo. Just a little bit unfortunate in some areas that Mastersuck was losing connection, which could have probably changed the results a little bit. But give us a bit of your take on your Division 4 constructors.
Yeah, gentlemen, how are we? Division 4, that was... I don't know if it's bad to say it, but personally it's my favourite division to, one, watch and to also engineer. Both the drivers, Ricciardo and Master, we're really good mates. Even before the season started, we all knew each other. We made... there was a lot of good races across the season. Personally for me, I think engineering Singapore, that was such an awesome race. Ricciardo did such a good job across the entire season. Watching them improve from the first race until that last race, it was very different. At the start of the race, I was in their ears like, oh, this is what we got to do, like this is the strategy, let's go. And the final race, we could sit in silence. It was their chemistry. It's almost like they were speaking like telepathically. They just knew what each other wanted at all times. I think you touched on it, Master, with the disconnects. I really feel for him there. We tried everything. We tried getting him a internet cable, Wi-Fi boosters. He even upgraded his internet plan and his console, and nothing worked. So we're just gonna hope when we move on to the new game, it's all good, and we'll see what happens.
Well, sorry to burst your bubble, but unfortunately, Mastersuck is still having the same problem. So that's not the best of news. But let's talk about the ingredients that these guys do. Like we talked about Bevs and Roller earlier on. What do you think is the ingredients that these guys are so good together as a team? Because we've seen drivers drive into each other. We've seen drivers battle each other, even though they're not in engineering or not in a comms box. So what's the ingredients that makes these guys so good as teammates?
Honestly, I think the main thing is they're really good mates, and I think every day, like those two, all three of us, we all talk to each other every day. We know each other quite well. Like, we're very similar people. So, when we race, we all want the same thing. Especially those two, they want to do the best they can, maximum points. So, with that goal in mind, they're gonna do well.
Fair enough. Good answer. And I'll pass you over to Dido if he's got any questions.
Yeah, not a lot, mate. Obviously, I comms a lot of their races, to be fair, and they both did extremely well. Like we said, obviously, Masters disconnects were the plague of his season, I'd say. I feel like obviously the technical side really hurt where he could have been at the end, but obviously the results that he had when he was there was crazy. Had some massive highs and lows, but and as far as Ricciardo goes, I mean, we all know how he went competing for the championship. both seasons in a row. So yeah, a great driver in both of those. I mean, that'd be my only question to you is having pace on both sides of the garage like that is very rare. How do you manage that? How do you keep that together? Keep them motivated because obviously you know that quicker the guys are, the less motivated they get. So yeah, and this game and Master with all these issues, obviously can't imagine he'd wanted to show up each week, but obviously he did and did a massive job. So just tell us a little bit about how you push them to keep going, mate.
Oh, well, yeah, they're both insanely talented drivers. They're really good, and one thing I really like about them is they're both really competitive. So they always want to do better than the other person. Obviously, they both want to do well, but they always want to beat each other. So they're always practicing, striving to try and beat each other. And I guess when they're always trying to beat each other, they're trying to get to the top and brings in all the points. So yeah, I think that's just the main thing all season long. They just wanted to beat each other.
Yeah. Well, hats off, mate. Obviously, big season for you as a TP and big result. Get a constructors under your belt. So well done, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, no, Wonton, great job, mate. As becoming a new Aston Martin TP for last season, you done a phenomenal job. Should be proud of obviously your two drivers. I know that you're obviously busy. Would have been great to have you on for the end of the show. Wonton has been absolutely working his butt off in the background. As you know, he is our new head steward and has come up with a new rule book. A lot of changes, a lot of things happening. Wonton, are these guys going to be exciting for the new changes?
I mean, I hope so. I'm pretty keen to see what people think. I think overall it's going to bring consistency to a brand new level. I think it's going to be really good. As you said, a lot of work's gone into this. I've read this thing over countless times, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm hoping everyone will be, or the majority will be happy.
That's actually true. He's read it more than the Bible. So yeah, it's been a lot of work behind the scenes, and he's done a phenomenal job. And the rule book will be going out after the awards night. So feel free to get your grips on it and read those new rules. And please do not point out any loopholes. But yeah, no, fantastic work, Wonton, that you've done behind the scenes, and also fantastic work that you've done last season as well with the Division 4 guys, and well deserved. And yeah, look forward to seeing what those guys do next season.
Cheers, thank you, and congratulations to all the champions for tonight as well.
Cheers, Wonton. All right, we're going to go back to Plugger, unfortunately. With Division 4.
Hey. No, poor Plugger.
Division 5, obviously, your two drivers in Vettel and Tyler, phenomenal season. The two of them did absolutely fantastic, absolutely railroaded basically most of the division with the points that they scored. I think they got 300 points all up together. Which is incredible. Just a great partnership. They just didn't really seem to make mistakes together, did they?
No, well, they've been teammates for a little while now, so a couple of seasons. Work very well together, and I think with both of them, the thing is that in Div, like they're in Div 5, but they both want to improve, and wanted to improve the whole time, and willing to listen and I guess try and get quicker and do the right thing for the team, and that's what they did. I mean, you look at the numbers; they're 207 points out in front. Like that's a crazy figure. Like absolutely crazy. I just can't believe it, to be honest. I didn't even know they were that far in front until I just looked then. So yeah, really good season for both of them, and it's probably annoying in a way for Tyler. Like Vettel had an amazing season, but I'd say that he played a little bit more second fiddle than he should have. Like he probably could have been fighting for that P2 in the championship from an individual standpoint, but he was absolutely a team man and helped Vettel as much as he could there get in front and stay in front. So hats off to both of them, really. Yeah, Vettel breaking a few front wings there under Dynasty's engineering, and we changed engineers, and look what happened. He turned it around. So no damage bill for the last half.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that you're saying. It does take the two teammates, and I do feel for Tyler, but also I'm happy for Tyler because Tyler has struggled the last few seasons. He's tried to get out of the division, and people have said to us, "Oh yeah, he's so fast. He's so fast." I'm like, yeah, but he's got to be consistent. You can be quick, but if you're not finishing races, it shows in stats. And finishing races means points. Obviously it goes down to 15. And this season, 9 times out of 10 that they were in the top 10 every week. And they worked so well together on track. They knew what they were doing. And they probably didn't have engineers before, and that makes a massive difference. We've had the conversations with Vettel, and he said that he hasn't been engineered before. And he probably wasn't as good as when he was engineered, because it changes the dynamics of your racing, because someone is talking to you, someone is giving you guidance along the way on the race. Yes, it can be a bit of a put off, but it's also great guidance because it's ERS management, it's tires, it's how far in front you are in front of the other car, how far you are in front behind the other car. So it's other things that you're probably not necessarily concentrating on in a race, which has made a massive difference to Vettel and Tyler.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not too sure. Obviously, I wasn't part of Mercedes the season before, but I think just the teamwork that they can put together has led them to where they are now, and I hope that maybe they can be teammates again next season, because it seems to me they have a good bond, even a weird one sometimes, but I'm sure those of Merck know what I mean by that. We'll leave it at that. But nah, all good fun. And I think they're both really good people. And Vettel is quite young, and he's still listening here. I can see him, but he's got a bright future ahead of him. And as does Tyler. I mean, in respect to me, they're both young. So they're really good people, really nice people, and all the best for the future and the season ahead, really, for them.
One question before I pass you over to Dido. How do you think that both of those will manage in Division 4?
Sorry, missed that. Go again.
How do you think both of those guys will manage in Division 4?
A few drivers moving up. So I think they'll be very competitive still. I think Vettel raced a couple of times in Div 4 and did well. And yeah, I think there's more competition coming into Div 5 and 6. And so there's a few drivers from what I've seen that are going from Div 4 to Div 3. So yeah, they'll be competitive. They may not be winning every race or competing for a top 3 in every race, but they certainly have the pace to do so.
Awesome. Okay, good answer. And I'll pass you over to Dido.
Yeah, hey Pugger. Obviously we've talked to Vettel about him and Tyler's performance. And yeah, there's not much else to say other than how dominant it was. I mean, it's pretty rare you see a team like that work so well together and get that many points. And the scary thing is it could have been a lot further too, with obviously Tyler's season not going to plan in some ways, a few DNFs and a couple of issues there. So yeah, let's touch on that. I mean, that's a freakish figure. Obviously moving up to Div 4 is a complete different can of worms, obviously trying to go against a whole nother caliber. But were you expecting that? I mean, out of all your guys' picks, you had a fair few names that you could have thrown in your mix out of your team to get that many points, but were you expecting it in Div 5?
Yeah, could have in 4, but yeah, as I said, they're washed. So didn't really get there. I'm trying to check. I don't have access to constructors for Div 3 anymore, so I don't know how many we scored.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
We would have put up a few, and the other side, the Div 2 driver, obviously, what a cluster for that. But if we had Shifty, for example, the whole season, then they would have put up about 500 points as well together. So we had some really strong driver pairings. It's just that these guys were the most consistent and well deserved as well for how many points they got.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, well done to your boys in Div 5.
Thanks, mate.
And we'll jump with Plugger after the Division 6 to announce the biggest prize of all. All right, okay. We are coming to near enough halfway, or a little bit more halfway. It takes a little bit of time to talk to these guys about, the plans and how it's all gone for them this season. But let's talk about Division 6. Thunderballs, good evening. Thank you for staying on, and I know you are the last person. But no, congratulations on a very well-deserved Division 6 constructors. You had a mixture of a teammate. We obviously started with Chevy. That obviously didn't go to plan, unfortunately. Then we went to Fish Lips. Things changed there. And then you had Ranieri at the end. But you were consistent, and you took the prize home for constructors. So you've got to be happy with that after not becoming a TP again for next season, even though that hasn't been announced yet. So that's a good way to go out, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, you said a lot there. So yeah, I mean, it was good. Slurry of teammates. Was able to gel quite a bit, and both Fish and Ranieri, when they came into the team, they really wanted to improve, and so we practiced, and that showed on track. I think Ranieri finished P12 the first time, and next minute he's top 5, so that was good on him. But it was good showing, and just consistent finishes, and trying to keep it in the points was the big thing.
Yeah, and that consistency you gave has obviously got you across the line. Are you happy? Obviously, I know you're not happy that you didn't take away the championship, but are you still happy that you took away the constructors?
Mate, there's another gentleman in this chat that can attest to this. I'm happy I didn't DNF a race. I'm happy I didn't get too smashed up in a prang. I finished every race that I started, and that is my win. Racecraft was definitely a thing that
I still think it's an alt Thunder. I don't think it was you.
I don't know. But the coaching from Marzi helped immensely. And I can't thank him enough for what he's pointed out through and through, like track after track after track, to help me improve, and also make me keep my eyes open. I'm not perfect out there. I don't think anyone really truly is, and but yeah, my win is bringing home points every week, and not retiring the car.
No, definitely, and obviously being a fellow driver for you for last season, you done a phenomenal job as a TP. Obviously having no experience in it, and obviously the coaching that you received from our old TP in Marzi was phenomenal, and the dedication and the commitment and the time that you've spent practicing as well is definitely shown on track, and it'll be very interesting to see how you go in yourself next season as well. I know you are down as a reserve, but if that does change, that would be great. And whoever has the opportunity, if that does go from reserve to a full-time, will be obviously definitely well managed, because you obviously are a fantastic guy and also a driver as well, and you've got a lot of potential. So from me, it was great to have you as a TP, and no, congratulations on the constructors as well, and a good way to go out, I would say. And I'll pass you over to Dita.
All right, thank you.
Thunder, mate. Sorry, mate. Ashley pretty much covered everything there, to be fair, but I asked the other guys a fair bit of it. Same thing, obviously. You sort of came out of nowhere mid start of the season, mate, and you were a bit quiet, and then you started getting into chats a bit more, and then that was, in my opinion, when the performances really took off. Once you sort of got into a team like McLaren with Marzi's guidance and stuff, we really saw you transform. But do you have a highlight of the season, something that really sticks out for you?
100%, man. 100%. Hungary. Hungary was the highlight of the season. That was race number 2, I believe, on the
Yep.
calendar, and I won by 12 seconds. And when I first signed to McLaren, we had a discussion, and it was along the lines of like, look, don't expect you to win championships, don't expect you to win races. You've got good pace, but your awareness is questionable. But we want to work on that, and we want to work on just not DNFing a race. And to get the W, that was everything in that moment. And coming from somebody that has no skill whatsoever to actually going up against 19 other drivers and getting across the line first, that was awesome. That was the highlight for me. And that was the first taste of like, maybe I can win races. And just tried to not look back from that point.
Yeah, mate. You had a great season, to be fair. A lot of highs, and then obviously jumping into the TP role in the end there and having to take over that and still performing on track was quite good, man. So well done from me. Obviously spoken to you a fair bit tonight, but yeah, great season all around. Obviously a good one to send it off with. Having a break now. So really, as far as your driving goes, I don't really think it could have gone much better.
Thank you very much. And yeah, for next season, the training wheels are off, no assists. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, well, mate, it seems like a lot of people are going there. So I'm sure we'll hopefully get that group of people back in the same guy. It will be a big learning curve, mate. But good luck, and we'll see you on the track.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, all right. Well, that's all the constructors. Thank you very much for all being on the show. Really, really appreciate it. Congratulations to those champions. Those constructors mean a lot. That's 2 drivers working together as a partnership and scoring as many points as they can for the championship. And all these guys have done it. So massive congrats to all of them. All right, now let's go over to the biggest prize. Now, every season, we know there is the biggest prize of all, and it is the overalls. Now, that means every single division accounts for all points together, and then it goes up to an overalls. And each week, the overalls goes out week by week by week by week by week. All the points then get added up, and then obviously the overall standings go out. And what a absolute fantastic season they had. There was some ups and downs along the way. We won't go too much into it. But they dominated probably from start to finish. Wasn't a little bit of a tie at first. They had a very big rivalry with McLaren as the fellow winners from last season. And I will repeat this. No one has ever won the overalls in 8 seasons in a row. Ever. No one's ever done it. And it's not happened again either this season, because McLaren won it last season, and then Mercedes won it the season after that. So it's now changed again, and now Mercedes are the overall champions of season 8. And I've got to say, what an absolute fantastic achievement that was. They had a very strong lineup across the board in all divisions. We did say that to Plugger earlier on. I'm just trying to delete this slide. So there you go. Look at that. Doesn't that look glorious? I definitely want that. Someone's definitely going to want that over their wall as wallpaper on their phone or something. But no, what a season for them. Even though I was driving against them and trying to battle them, 300-point gap between them and Sauber in the end. Sauber took a massive jump and did jump McLaren to that P2 spot. But Dido, from your point of view, what a season for Mercedes, and doesn't that graphic look lovely?
Yeah, graphic was good, man. But yeah, Mercedes, I mean, it's pretty much it was probably one of the uncomparable seasons compared to the rest. If you look at the overall throughout this season, every single team swapped positions. Merc didn't. You know, yeah, as a TV from another season, you do get annoyed seeing the same team at the top for the whole season, but they did an absolute, like, it's unheard of. So yeah, the results and everything that came through from pretty much the start of the season, obviously, like you said, that it was battling with McLaren, and then McLaren sort of tipped off, even after Kick's insurgence which was a freakish thing on its own. Obviously, going from the bottom of the constructors to the very close, you know, to competing at the top, still being, you know, a 300-point gap or such. I can't even remember how big it was. Still being a massive gap to them, with trying to maintain that. Yeah, I don't really have much more words for it. But as far as, you know, just the caliber in the team, you know, we've spoken to 3 drivers tonight, 3 different champions, and 3 of them were from Merc. So it just goes to show you the sort of the caliber they had in that team. And like I was sort of talking to Plugger about before, you know, that reflects, that ripples through the whole team. And we saw it with Angus. You know, he's got his teammates who's fighting for the championship. That's naturally going to rub off on him a bit. And that propelled him up the field. And then obviously Div 2 with Yuki, and just a great season battling for the championship. Like every single division they had a guy in there that was at one point in contention or contention the whole season for the championship, it's just mind-boggling. You know, and they did well. I mean, they got the recipe right. I think that's the quote, really, you could say, is it's the recipe. 6 divisions. They were the first. Pretty big highlight that, in my opinion, was my biggest goal of this season, which obviously didn't eventuate, is that the first team to win the Div 6. You know, we first Div 6, all 6 divisions overalls. We didn't run that the season before. So that alone, you know, you're talking about 40 drivers off the top of my head that are competing in different teams and stuff alone. So yeah, no words can match. And you know, obviously, and Pep are related, and that teamwork that they have. He was in my team the season before, so I know what he brings to the table as far as just helping out, and that's crucial. You know, it's not a hard job, but it can be if you don't have help. And the minute you have a second guy to bounce off a bit, it's a different ball game. And I think, as far as Pep did the best job ever, really, as a TP, I think a lot of the credit from that would be to Plugger, the guy we're about to speak to, as well. Just with helping Pep, those two were like a Diamondite team, and it worked. You could see throughout the Merc garage, everyone getting involved in an engineering perspective, which is rare itself. Not a lot of guys want to turn up for a virtual team like that. And I think, as far as, in my opinion, though, for Mercedes was just keeping drivers. They didn't have any problems, really. They had a few here and there, but their team was pretty solid all season, and that's rare. If you look at any other team, you look at Kick, Alpine, I mean, Williams, geez, like, there's teams that are losing 5-6 drivers over a season. And that, as soon as you lose over 2-3 drivers, it's a whole new ball game. So I think they just got it right, mate. I don't know how. It's a freakish season, the way they propelled like that. And like I said, to see one team not bounce off that one step of the ladder all season, is a pretty big thing. I've been here a while, and that was a pretty dominant performance, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I do agree. And I think the main thing about the overalls, and I think you've got the nail on the head, is that consistency with those drivers. You look at the start of the lineups when we started off in season 8, you know, you would look at Ferrari and you'd think, oh my days, who is going to be able to beat them? But it all diminished. It diminished within a heartbeat. That's soul destroying for a TP as well, because you've got all these top drivers, and then all of a sudden they leave for their own reasons. Fair enough, but the one thing I really want to see next season, and I think this is why we have such a big fight for the overalls, and we will have a big fight in the overalls, is if these teams can cement these drivers to an 18 race season. You know, we know it's a long season, but if they can cement them and they can keep them in, we are going to see more than one battle, two battles, three battles. We're going to see 5 teams at it.
Yeah.
We saw the charge
Yeah.
of Kick. We saw the consistency of McLaren. Things changed, obviously, in McLaren team. Mercedes obviously had their situations as well. Kick had their situations early on as well. A completely different TP, brought in new drivers. Drivers left. Drivers came back in. Drivers were coming in through the season to help score points as well, and also having a few drivers come in and help Mercedes. And that's what's got this. And TMT, I'm going to use this guy as an example, and he's probably going to hate this. This guy has been wanting to win this prize for 8 seasons, 6 seasons, 7 seasons, never won it. And is the longest TP we've got in the league. It just tells you how difficult it is to win it. Last season McLaren, this season Mercedes. Who's it going to be next season? But anyway, while we're talking about that, let's talk to the man himself, representing Pep. Plugger, what an achievement. You said all the way along you wanted to work with your cousin. Williams allowed you to do that. You obviously left Williams. You left. Rush obviously gave the opportunity Pep to be a TP, and you and your cousin. I don't know who the hell I'm sending this to, you or your cousin. But what an achievement, mate!
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, it was. It was was something we talked about doing at the end of last season, and I know Dino and I had some conversations around trying to get Pep over if we could, and Dynasty was TP of Mercedes last year, who gave Pep a seed, and we just wanted to race together, so whoever could make that work, and then it kind of didn't look like it was going to happen, and so I suggested to Pep that he could do the TP role, and I guess he thought about that and went for it. So which has been a really it's to be honest, it's been a pretty tough year, or tough season. We kind of
for you or for us?
We were good everyone. We weren't really looked at as being a threat to start with, which fired it all up for us really, and the team really wanted to work together to take the overalls. I think you talked about there was a bit of chatter around the McLaren and around the Ferrari, and they were the obvious ones. And then we led from round 1 in the end. I just went back and had a check, and we didn't stop leading. And there was some kerfuffle along the way, as we all know. We lost 242 points. So technically, we won by 466 from Kick. So I think that's a massive achievement for Pep and the crew. I helped him with that, but at the end of the day, he was the TP and he was the one that had to deal with the drama. So it's all down to him and his hard work in getting the team together and making sure that we were all on the same page. And Dynasty helped him a lot too, obviously as a fellow TP. So having him there was crucial for all of us to get the job done. And to get the job done. Shut up, Yuki. Love you. We had some really fast drivers though. You look through the divisions. You had the start. We had Kauki in Tier 1, who was really fast there with Lumi, who didn't work out. We ended up signing Campbell for the last part of the season, which just helped top it off. And Oscar Liu, who didn't quite get a few races there, so because he sold his rig. But when they couldn't race, we had our Div 2 drivers go up. So at the time, Yuki and Oscar, Piastri Goat, they raced really well together. Yuki wasn't. It was Ink and Oscar Piastri Goat, I believe, to start with. And then some things changed. Yuki came over and really steadied the ship for Div 2. And then, as I said, we lost our drivers due to some unfortunate incidents. And Shifty ended up coming over, which, he again, just a level head, some maturity and some experience there. And then obviously Angus for us in Tier 3 with myself. So big thanks to Angus there. We had Pep and Dynasty Tier 4, so a really experienced duo there, and Pep's only getting quicker as he gets into sim racing a bit more. Div 5 we talked about with Tyler and Vettel, an amazing partnership there, putting on a lot of points for the overalls. and then Edge taking out Div 6 with Ski for majority of the season. He's helped out there phenomenally, and then just his work commitments changed, and that was actually probably one of the hardest things to get was a Div 6 reserve, because you can't get a teammate to jump up. So it was appreciative for those Div 6 drivers to turn up most of the time. And when they couldn't, we had to try and scramble around and get as many points on the board as we could. But really, we were worried for nothing. It was a pretty dominant season, so pretty happy with that. And we'll take the overalls and see what next season brings. It's, as I said, well, you'll find out soon. Pep's not doing it again. It was just too much, really, to handle, to be honest, with some of the things that happened through the season. So we just need a bit of a break there and go back to racing and enjoy what we were doing and race together where we can, and go from there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think obviously a big shout out to the whole team. Obviously, there's more than one name. You know, obviously got Division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and all putting on points. And as you did say, you were very strong across the board. And at the start of the season, Mercedes were probably not even in the running. You know, it was mainly Ferrari and McLaren and a few other teams as well. But things change. You know, things change. People's commitments change. And like you say, you lose a few drivers and you have to then try and gain. You then have to try and see if they are the ones up to scratch. And, you know, there's a few Division 6 drivers you had that didn't score any points. And, you know, you knew that some of the other teams of like Kick and McLaren and Williams had stronger teammates together in some divisions, because obviously Mercedes was strong in some divisions and then some other teams were stronger in others. So that's why it made it quite exciting to see who was going to, come out on top. And then obviously with the points deduction as well, that was a big hit. And obviously you dealt with that very, very well. And to get to the end and the surge of obviously the Kick had was insane. But unfortunately that point gap was just out of reach. The question I'm going to ask you is, whoever takes on it again, can we see it? Can we see it a back-to-back? Can we see Mercedes taking it in Season 9?
I was just going to say, I mean, we're averaging 200 points a round from the start, nearly in the end. For the first few weeks, and that really set us apart from early days. The kick surgence was strong, but I think we were still matching them. Like the gap never really changed too much from about 200 points. So we were just monitoring that, and by the end of it, to be honest, we were ready to get off F1 24 and get to F1 25. So I think we kind of gave up a little bit in the way of we'd already won it. And I do hope that the team acknowledged that we put in the hard yards early so we could relax and take it easy to the end. So next season, though, I think so, because you get a few, hopefully you get a few guys that want to drive for the team that won last season, and things will change a fair bit. They'll have a new TP, and the keeper rounds, the keeper system, I believe that's in place, means that they'll get to keep a couple of quick drivers. So it'll start off well, and hopefully we can draft well from there and go from there. But it'll be a change. But then, given what we just said, that every team will change, so I think it evens the playing field back up a lot. Be good.
Okay, awesome. Dado, anything from you to Plugger for the last of the night?
Yeah, I mean, Plugger, obviously, I said it all before about Mercedes' performance. I'll probably touch a bit on, like, obviously the consistency, from round 1 to round... I can't even remember off the top of my head. Obviously, the whole season led the overalls. And obviously, you guys got to sit sort of at certain times, sort of watch the world crumble around you. Obviously, a lot of teams were losing drivers. You actually gained a few of those. Obviously, Yuki leaving Haas mid-season or whenever it was to join you, and then Shifty right near the end of the season to your team. So do you feel like, obviously, like around you, managing that and obviously getting these guys like Angus that were struggling at the start of the season was the key? Like, obviously, consistency is one thing, but even getting the guy to show up and then obviously not performing is another. So I'd just like to think what your opinion or what was the turning factor this season. I mean, there's a lot you could say. You had a lot of fast guys, but what do you feel like? Obviously, you gained a lot of good drivers. You lost a couple too for their own reasons, but what's your opinion on what was the deciding factor this season?
Yeah, I mean, consistency is it. The thing is that we hardly had to chase drivers. Like there was no one saying, "Oh, I've got birthday dinners," really, or sorry, no, we've got dinners, or we've got playing sports, or anything like that. And when they did need a week off, they told us up front, which meant that we could get a reserve in place. So consistency and upfront communication was key there, and we really appreciated the efforts of everyone, not to have to worry too much about finding a driver. And as I said before, I touched on it, that when we did, we had really good backup drivers that we knew, well, if we can't find anyone, we've got, for example, Yuki to reserve up, and Shifty at the end to reserve up to Div 1, or myself to reserve up to Div 2. So I guess just knowing where people were at, meant that we could focus on those drivers, getting the practice in. And we did put a lot of practice in at the start, and it slowly dropped away purely because we knew we had really fast guys, and there was no point making them do something that they necessarily didn't want to do. But we're all in VCs talking to each other, and I think just enjoying it and having a bit of banter between the team is what helps, because then you turn up because you want to, not because you have to.
Yeah, I was just about to touch on that. Like, obviously, you guys were pretty dominant pretty much whole season, but especially the first half. I feel like you guys would have been able to relax a bit in a sense, not a relax, but, not have to stress about the little things, and more focus on performance and all that sort of stuff. And obviously, like you said, you wanted to get off the game pretty early, so it must have felt like you guys were pretty confident. Even me personally, looking at the overalls from about mid-season, I was like, okay, I'd take a freakish, these guys are just on another level. So yeah, I feel like, did you feel like you could lift off the pedal a little bit? Like, 'cause these guys really drove it for you. Like I said, you had three div champions, you, Vettel, and Edge. So that's a massive feat. No other team in here's got that, and that alone obviously would have contributed a massive factor to your overall standings. And then if you look at the guys in second place to some of these, you obviously had Yuki in there that could have won the Div 2 standings very, very closely right at the end. So they're, pretty much in, like I said earlier, every div you had a guy that could either reserve up and pretty much either get a top 5 or, do really well in. So it's very hard to pinpoint for you guys, in my opinion, like you said, what was the best part. But I felt like lifting off the pedal and being able to relax a little bit would have been really cool for you guys.
Yeah, it was. I mean, by about round 12, 13, we'd sort of gone, oh, well, we've got this. And then, round 15, we lost 224 points and sort of went, oh, shit, we better get back into it, because I think that lit another fire underneath everyone to go, you know what, we're not losing this. So fired everyone back up to commit to racing and winning, and putting the effort in. So, yeah, that might have even nearly been the turning point for us at round 15 of going, righto, let's lock in and finish it off. So,
yeah, well, realistically though, even with point loss, it would have been a massive feat for any team to even get. So yeah, that just shows you guys had a faultless season with all your drivers. Really, I don't think you pinpoint a driver in your team that didn't perform. So well done, guys.
Yep. Oh. Just pinpointing a driver.
No, he had a great season. I feel. I mean, we haven't. That's probably a driver we haven't touched on in your team much, obviously, other than the TP perspective. He was actually in contention at one point, I would have said, for the championship. Like, he had some serious pace there, and just a bit of an unlucky. He had a few crashes and stuff, but yeah, a great driver as well. It'll be unfortunate not to see him on the grid next season, obviously, but it's always a tough one to be driving, and then obviously having a competitive sort of driving perspective and having to run your team. So he's done a great job.
Yeah, good driver, shit family member.
Jeez. Fair enough.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, a massive congratulations to the whole team, all the drivers, and also to your cousin Pip. Phenomenal job. Should be very, very proud. Shame he's not here tonight. It would have been great to have a chat with him. And yeah, like Dido did say, shame we're not going to see him on track next season. If he does change his mind, then by all means, happy to, as always, to have him on track. As Dido did say, he was influential part of Division 4, especially with that battle with Cooper and Ricardo. So, and you, Plugger, for representing the whole Mercedes team in general. Yeah, just a great guy, mate. Thank you very much for all your entertainment that you've given us. Congratulations on everything, the championships that you've all won, and obviously the biggest prize of all of the overalls. And please let me know who the hell I'm sending this to. If it's to you or Pep, I need an address. So
you've got mine. Just send it to me and I'll sort it out.
We'll sort
Thanks,
it out.
guys. So appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Take care.
Thanks for jumping in, Plugger, mate.
Okay, well, that's all the champions, Dido. We're going to get through this really quickly now. That was the long part. This bit is pretty of a quick bit, but no, congratulations to everyone. And let's go over to the awards that some of these guys have decided to pick this season. Right, here we go. So, first up, the first award coming in is the best engineer. So there you go. Best engineer is Terence. And we heard, obviously, Chandler say quite a few things about that, that he done a phenomenal job as engineer. So he gets the best engineer. So congratulations, Terence. Going to the cleanest driver. Well, this one is an interesting one, even though his connection is not the best. Yeah. TMT, well deserved, mate. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, he had no license points for 2 seasons in a row, so big job for TMT.
Yeah, great. No, great work. Absolutely fantastic work there. And we're going to go over to our next award after that. But no, cleanest driver, it's obviously a big award. And like I said, if you want any of these graphics, then feel free to message me, and I'm happy to send them to you if you want to use them as your profile picture or anything else. And feel free. Most events entered. Now, this man was driving in Div 2 and Div 3. 34 events he entered. So shows the consistency there from with Matif in the kick. And we'll go over to our next one. And it is trying to get through these as quick as possible, because then the next bit is the big one. So who is the next award going to go to? So there we go. Best commentator. Well, there you go. I didn't get it. And this man definitely deserves it. Gets up early hours in the morning. And Rekus, what a guy. And dedication 100% every week without fail, Dido.
Yeah, Rekus, absolutely insane. 2 a.m. or something in the morning. Massive stream every week. Just, yeah, good job, mate.
Most improved with Matif, 100,000% agree with this award. Absolutely phenomenal, and is going to get better and better throughout the season. Then we go over to the best teammates. I would definitely agree with this. Vettel and Tyler showed an absolute fantastic season, and they definitely deserved best teammates. So fantastic achievement for them, and they should be very, very proud as well. So rising star, Iraq Lobster. We saw him give a lot of penalties, but he showed some serious pace, and he'll definitely be one to watch out for when he does eventually sign up. So Wonton, get your brother organised and get his sign up in. Most wins, Yuki Bear didn't take the championship in Division 2, but did get the most wins. Pretty impressive, 6 wins in a season in Division 2. So congratulations to him.
Iceman, Shifty Flight.
Yeah, apparently this one was done because he was very straightforward in an interview. 1-word answers, and that was it. Didn't really go into much context. So that's why he got the Iceman award. So yeah, congratulations to Shifty Flight. And that is it, I think, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think there's any more. I think that is your lot. So they are all your awards for this season. So thank you very much to everyone that nominated these guys. Well deserved for everyone. And like I said, feel free if you do want these at the end of the season. Oh, there is one more to come through. Best team principal. Which I'm waiting for that one to come through. Hopefully that comes through. Which went to Thunderballs. Hopefully it comes around. 2 seconds. Hopefully. I know that they disappeared and then they came around again. I'm just going to go through them one more time, and that doesn't take that long. But there we go. So we got Best Engineer, Terence. Well-deserved, Dito, in my eyes. As Jake Attack did say, Chance did say that Terence was phenomenal in the engineering box when he jumped on.
Yeah, well, obviously that's these are all just generic, things. So we had to wait and see. But Terence, I know for a fact, has some sort of weird system the way he engineers. So yeah, not surprising to hear that one.
No, definitely, and fantastic job there as well for TMT getting the cleanest driver. No LPs all season, so congratulations to him. And like we're saying, going back again with Matif getting most events, he obviously liked racing quite a lot, and that definitely did help his team and get that surge that Kick deserved at the end. And we're going over to the next one. There you go. There it is. Best team principal. So everyone decided that Thunderballs, well-deserved best team principal. Done a phenomenal job with McLaren. You've got to say, no experience, and jumped in and gave it a go, and very well-deserved as well. I think all these awards are very well-deserved. Very well-deserved. And then,
yeah, there may be a mistake with the most wins. I think Plugger might have got the most wins over Yuki, but same team either way. So that just shows how dominant Mercedes were. 36 and 7 wins between them, which is a massive feat each. So yeah, crazy.
Right. Well, there we go. There's the awards. We are coming to the closing stages of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for staying on board. I know it's taking a little bit of time, but these normally do not go short. They normally go into the distance. And this is the biggest one that people have been looking forward to for a long time. This is the team principals. And this is something you've been very excited to see who is going to be taking on these teams next season, Dito.
Yeah, mate, I am. Obviously, a lot of new faces, a lot of guys not doing it next season that we are used to seeing. So, yeah, obviously had to fill those seats. And these guys, a lot of them have big shoes to fill. So, especially the likes of Mercedes, obviously dominant team they were this year, or this season, sorry. Whoever takes on that role has a massive undertaking to try and match that.
Okay, well, here we go over to the TPs. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your Season 9 team principals for next season. Get ready for the drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. So, they are coming up on your screen now. And here they are. In 3, in 2, in 1. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The team principals for next season are Season 9. Vettel will be taking over the overall champions in Mercedes. Now, Dito, you think this could change things? He's won the championship in Division 5. He's going up in Division 4. Now he's taking over the team. Are we going to see the same dominance with Mercedes next season?
Oh man, that's a big question. But like I said just before, Vettel taking over Mercedes with obviously the last season's champs, as dominant as they were. That's a huge challenge. But good on him for taking it on. He drove in the team. He believes in the team. He'll probably try and get a lot of those same guys back. So yeah, I think that could be a very, very good one to watch there, mate.
Definitely. And returning in the Red Bull is David. Now, David's got experience in a season. Can we see a little bit of a lift next season with Red Bull?
Yeah, I mean, I think David definitely has to get his team there. Luck was a big them. They're another team that lost a lot of their drivers with just drama and people not showing up too. So I think, if he can get the recipe right, definitely. He was actually in P3 in the overalls at one point, messing around up there. So I believe Red Bull can have a challenge.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Then we'll go over to Ferrari. Now, this person has jumped into it and done an absolutely phenomenal job, and wanted to take on the role, and showed some very prospecting racing in Division 4. So, I think this is a team that we'll have to watch out for next season in Ferrari with Flubber.
Yeah, obviously he jumped in towards the end of the season. I think Friends would have done that just to see how he could go, but. He's definitely got the bit of experience now. He's done a bit of racing here. Knows what it's about. Has some great guys in his team he can choose to obviously take with him. He's one to watch. Ferrari also always seem to start the season strong and rush too. So if he can keep the momentum going, that'll be a good one to watch for.
Definitely. And obviously the team that have won the overall champions and have won quite a few championships, Jackal, who is an unknown name that no one's really heard of, that came across with experience in other fields, which we'll believe quite good in running a team. So a little bit of an unknown in McLaren for next season, Dido.
Yeah, fresh name could be an interesting one. Obviously, he's been in the background for a fair while, but obviously not on the racing front. He wants to give it a go, and obviously taking over sort of no easy feat either. They've had a very dominant last few seasons. To be fair, they've been in the overall contention for a while. So, very interesting.
Yep, then we're going to go over to Alpine. This man came into the role and done a very good job. It was obviously fantastic engineering as well. Do you think he can turn Alpine into overall champions?
Well, I'm sure he'd love to. He's obviously got great engineering behind him. He can... Sorry, I'm just reading the chat there for a second. He jumped in late like the other boys and had to take up from what was there. And he would have gained a lot from this season, learned how it all works. And then, started again basically next season. But he's one to watch. I think he's a bit of a dark horse. He doesn't say much, but he has some great performances. He helped Alpine, in my opinion. Alpine were really in trouble. He had to pick up the scraps, and he's done a very good job. Obviously, Chandler's said that before with how great he was to the team and how it helped him to win the championship. He is one to watch next season, in my opinion.
Yep, nicely done. Nicely done. There's a few comments coming in about the teams. All good to see. 40 people tuning in tonight. Thank you very much. Let's bring it into another 10 and get to the 50 for the last couple of slides before we get over to the calendar. Aston Martin, now we saw a force in Division 4. We saw a force in other areas as well. Wonton obviously has a big job as the head steward, but can he do the same? Can he push Aston closer to the overalls than he did? Because they did make a bit of a surge on Kickers at a point, but then dipped off a little bit. So opportunity for Aston next season?
Yeah. I mean, Wonton's a great TP. He's also obviously a great head steward now, but he does a lot of his stuff in the backgrounds, and obviously it's one to be reckoned with if he can get that team up to the firing standards it was at the end of the season. He could definitely be in a charge for the overalls. That sort of charge Kick had, he was sort of Aston sort of followed a little bit, obviously not as the extent as Kick did, but those guys can get it right. Definitely, he has a few names he can carry through to the next season to kick that team off. So he's one to watch as well.
And we're going over to these Cash App. It was like a bit of a mouthful, hasn't it been, all season? It was either MasterCard, Barclaycard, we don't know what the hell to call them. And in the end, we just called them VCard. So TMT, can he take it for the last time? Because this is going to be his last chance. He has stated he will retire after this. Can TMT take VCab to a championship, the overalls?
I think if it's any season, it will be this season. To be fair, he favors the draft system of how that all works, and he's obviously very good at doing that. He's done it for a long time. I personally have spoken to him, obviously, a fair bit, and he's dropped down a lot of his prior commitments to pretty much make this his number one, just to try and win that chip. Because he's been here, like you said, a long time, and I think we'd be getting pretty over what's been happening, especially last season. That was probably not his highlight. Did not go to plan at all for Visa. So definitely it would be a great comeback story to flip it on its head next season.
Yeah, definitely. And going to be very interesting. And I do wish him all the best, because it would be great to see TNT out winning the overalls and then retiring. You know, he's done so many seasons. So, all right, then we're going to go over to the next one of obviously Stake, who are changing to Audi. So we'll be changing that obviously for the following season, and obviously maybe a different TP. But this man shown that he can run a team, and he had a massive surge. Is there going to be an opportunity that he's going to be battling the front three next season for the overalls?
Oh, definitely. If he can sort of get that team again that he had. I mean, Freak's team, he sort of mustered up a lot of it, respectively, did come at him. Like, he got some massive names signed, and that propelled that team forward. Plus his management, obviously the team just being more active and involved just propelled that team forward. But obviously, like it's very tough to say if we're just looking at what their previous teams were. Yeah, he would definitely be up there in the overalls. But obviously with the draft next season, you could end up with a complete different team and not have any sort of the same chemistry you did. Or you get riddled with what the other guys got done in that season and they leave again. So it's all about, as bad as this sounds, it is a bit about luck. Getting a grid picked is one thing. If they can stay there is another. So I think that will be Kick's goal, and obviously most TP's goal personally. But yeah, definitely one to watch for.
Definitely. And going over to you, obviously you've got the new name of Taliesin Williams Racing, as they've got their new name. And you are looking bigger fish to fry next season. You are going for the overall championship. You stated this in interviews. How do you think that you're going to go next season? And what are you going to be looking at? Because you've been done dirty a few times with a few drivers. But let's see what the plan is, the overalls. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's always been that, but definitely getting more. Want to make that final push. Last season was very disheartening, to be fair, for me as a TP, and I didn't really want to give it another go. But I feel like, it's a bit of an addiction. You don't want to leave until you've got that win, and there's always been things I've said in my mind that if I got it right, I could have changed here and there. It would have gone differently. But at the start of the season, on paper, we definitely could have competed for the overalls without a doubt. Started off very strong, and then the team started to drop like flies. I think by about round 7, we were down to, actually later than about round 6, 7. I think we were down to about 5 full-time drivers signed to the team out of 10. And then I fixed that, and then obviously happened again towards the end of the season and mid-season. And it is disheartening, especially when you're looking around you and everyone's going up and you're just trying to find a driver. It definitely is a kick in the guts, but it's all a game, man. It's a puzzle. It's picking the right people, knowing who to pick next season, knowing who doesn't show up. You can be the fastest on paper, but if you're going to leave your team like mid-season, you're not worth it. So that's my whole principle. I won't be looking at really pace at all. I'll just be looking if they could not jump ship to another team, or leave halfway through, or just not show up. That will be my complete criteria. And obviously I could sit here and say it's definitely going to happen or it's not, but it is a goal. And I think every single all of these guys on this graphic, his goal is to win the overalls. Otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. But just been a little bit more smart with who I pick and using experiences of that. And
awesome. Okay. And then the last one, number 10, Dante. Now, we've given Dante a
Ooh.
few roles, and he's unfortunately failed miserably, but I've seen him be a TP somewhere else. And can Dante turn Haas around and turn him into winners?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think he's one to watch. Done well in other places I've looked at, and I've seen him. He may have won somewhere else in the past, but he obviously has experience being a TP. He's got rush experience. He's seen what all these guys are about. I think that will be key with the draft next season, is knowing the drivers that are on the draft, and like I said, knowing who shows up, knowing who is consistent, such and such, and he's got all that. He's obviously been here a while, so he. As long, pretty like I said, every single one, but they all are ones to look at and ones to just not discount. I really think this could be quite a competitive season with this lot of TPs, and not to mention last season was any different. But all of these guys, other than maybe Jackal, have TP experience in some sense, so it will be a good one, mate.
Yeah, no, I think it will, and I think we've chosen very well. I think there's been some very, very good choices there. I think obviously you've got some experience in a few of them, some new ones as well, and you've got to give people the benefit of the doubt. Thank you for everyone that did put their name forward for a TP. It is very, very hard to decide. There's a lot that goes behind it. We obviously need to make sure that the people are the right people. We don't want people just to fade away and not do anything, because it does affect the team. It affects the standings, affects your results. And if it does dip, there is a performance clause behind this. So if you do not pull your weight, you will lose the TP role very, very quickly. And I'm sure that none of you will. I'm sure that all of you will have a fantastic season. There is a lot that you guys have got to do. There will be a TP meeting in the next about a week or so. So feel free to get amongst that. There's been a lot of questions asked with the new TP manager and myself. And I just wish every single one of you all the best in season 9. Good luck for the draft. And I think that graphic, I've got to say, apart from a few things that we've noticed there as a spelling, is phenomenal. I really do like it. And I'm going to give a big shout out to the graphics guy when we finish up. But you happy with those TPs?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see some new competition, obviously old competition as well. A bit of rivalries forming between TPs now, and fresh faces are good, and gets rid of like a fresh slate basically, and obviously it's not a complete fresh slate, but a few fresh names is always good just to add to the mix. And who knows, one of these fresh names could be the guy we're talking to next year or next end of this season for the overalls winner. So
yeah,
you never know, mate. And
definitely
gets the chemistry.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Right.
And you can see going into obviously next season, Vettel has got some big shoes to fill, some big shoes, and the pressure may get to him, and we may not see that. We just do not know. You do not know what they're going to do. So these guys have got a lot of work to do now. They've got to pick 2 of their drivers that they want to keep. And then after that, they've then got a draft selection. And our draft selection is absolutely pucker. I cannot wait. No other league has ever done this. And this is going to be strategy to the max. So guys, get ready for a notepad and a pen, because you're going to need it. Because it's not like any other draft you've seen before. So watch that space. But no, congratulations to Vettel, David, Flubber, Jackal, Terence, Watanabe, TNT, Whiff, Dido, and Dante for season 9. You are the TPs. We wish you all the best. Right, we are coming to the closing stages. We should be able to get this done before the 3-hour mark, as everyone says our streams are very long. But yes, here we go. It is the night that we've all been waiting for. It's the calendar. And if you do not like the calendar, well, Dido, they can blame themselves, because they voted for the tracks. So
yes, it's very obscure, I must admit. But like we said, we left it all to the grid this season, mate. So it's a very interesting calendar, that's for sure.
Yeah. So here we go. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, when will the draft be? Yes, their dates will be announced later on. So here we go. We are going to announce the season 9 calendar for next season. You either like it or you don't. your choice, but you're racing at these races. Here is the season 9 calendar for next season. Should be coming up on stream very, very shortly. Here we go. Trying to get rid of that. Hang on, 2 seconds. There we go. So, round 1, we're heading to Jeddah for an enduro of 100%. So, if you do not like first sector, you're going to have to do it about 50 times. Oh, hang on. That just disappeared. I do apologize. Sorry, there's been a bit of a... Hang on, let me just... Sorry, I'll start that again. I'm trying to delete this, but it's not deleting. Okay, we'll try that again. Take 2. I don't know what happened there. It's just frozen on my screen, so I don't know what this is doing, but hopefully it comes back. Right, there we go. You've got Jeddah, round number 1. Like I said, doing sector 1 50 times, so get ready for that. Then, as we didn't have it this season, and a lot of people thought that we would have had it this season for the mystery round, it's Monaco in round 2. Guitar in round 3. Thank you, Dante. I hate you. I can't stand that track. And then we're going to go straight into another enduro race at round 4 at Singapore. Now, we know how difficult that is to overtake at Singapore, and you're going to find it even more difficult with an enduro round there. Round 5 with the new layout of Miami. Remember, there is a wall now at the swimming pool section, so please be careful. Then we're going to head over to the history of Rush Racing League of Baku in round number 6. Imola, round number 7. Lamb, I do not like you anymore. Will be the last time that we see this on this calendar, and also the real calendar as it is being removed. Then we're going to head over to Zandvoort. Now, we saw a very fantastic performance there from Tudor. He is going to have 2 races to show what he's capable of there at round 8. Brazil, round 9 in Interlagos. So lovely DRS zones. And a great track, I've got to say, a great track. Really good, a lot of fun, and look forward to that. Round 10 is a little bit of a question mark at the moment. It is a sprint, but it's also reverse. We're still undecided of if we will continue. If we do not, it will just be Silverstone normal. So get ready for round 10. That may change at a later date. We're then going to be stopping at round 10. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to be stopping at round 6, aren't we, for silly season? And that
Yes.
Yes, that's correct, isn't it? Silly season at round 6.
Yes, there's 2 silly seasons at 6, round 6 and 12.
Yes, that's it. Just wanted to double check on that. So then over to Monza round 11. It's all about Parabolica and Ascari. So going to be exciting there. I do like the second half. I think it's fantastic. Round 12, normally everyone has Abu Dhabi at the end. We do not. We have it at round 12, and it is 100%. And we've done it quite a lot, but that's what you chose. So that is 100%. That then will be another break, and we'll have silly season there. So we'll be coming back after a week's break, and we'll be going straight to Coda for a sprint round, which is at round 13. Round 14, you can't not have it on the calendar, is Austria. Fantastic track. Lots of racecraft, lots of overtaking, lots of wheel-to-wheel racing. It's going to be fantastic. Obviously, we're in OCE League. Australia, round 15. I've seen some serious times there, so that's going to be very exciting to see what people can do. And Spain is on the calendar. Hopefully, they've got it fixed. I should say they should have it fixed. That's at round 16. Then we're going to go at Canada, and obviously, Canada was a big one for the end of the season, as it basically got voted for all of the mystery round. So yeah, it's going to be good to go back there and tackle the Wall of Champions. And then the finale, only 18 rounds, no mystery round this season. And we head over to China, to Shanghai for the finale. Dido, take on the calendar, my friend.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's a bit all over the place. But yeah, I think that's what you get when, you know, it's sort of a voted in system this time for the calendar, and saying that though, like, it's a very mixed sort of 2 halves of the season. You've got the first sort of rounds, pretty close, dangerous tracks, can really end up in tears there to pretty much round 9. And then you go down the rest of them where obviously still same situation, but they're a little bit more spread out. They're a little bit more of the popular tracks. You got obviously Australia there, Canada, China being a finale is a bit iffy on me. I'm not a fan of that at all. Don't like that track, but got to deal with it. But yeah, I mean, as far as the first 5 races, I mean, geez, Saudi first. If you survive that, you've got obviously Monaco and then Qatar, then Singapore. I mean, they're 4 races that could be 4 DNFs in a row. So yeah, huge shake-up. Championship could go both ways. Some guys get a really good start and then had to dwindle off in the back half, or you get 4 DNFs in a row and you got to pretty much use the rest of the season to make it up. I mean, you really got to focus on getting through those 5 rounds at the start. They're pretty brutal. Monaco especially, obviously. So yeah, very interesting, mate.
Yeah, I'm reading a lot of the comments at the moment, and the comments are saying that they're not liking the first half, and I think that's going to be the question, isn't it? You know, that first half is going to be a real interesting one. You know, obviously Jeddah, Monaco, Qatar, and Singapore. You know, 4 very, very difficult tracks, and then you've got Miami and Baku in round 5 and 6 as well. So, going to be interesting. But round 10 to round 18, Silverstone, Monza, Abu Dhabi, Texas, Australia, Spain, Canada, China. That's some very good tracks for the later stages, and that could change up the championships in all divisions very quickly, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the common reasons, obviously, the top first 5 aren't liked is because they're not easy. Like that, like I said, you could pretty much DNF so easily at any of them. We still season at most of those tracks, but they aren't something you can't sort of go in prepared for, especially like some Monaco. I mean, yeah, you don't very often do online races there in leagues. So yeah, these guys will just have to get through. I'm a bit nervous about it myself, but get through that. You could be looking like you're in a good shape for the rest of the season. Some top names could have a really dreadful start, and who knows, you're in the championship fight.
Yeah, definitely. And to close it out, ladies and gentlemen, this is our new logo for next season. So feel free to tune in and enjoy. Yeah, it's been a fantastic night. I know it's gone on for a distance, but this is the new logo for next season. I hope you enjoy it. It is the overall colours of Mercedes. I should not have said that. I rewind that, cut that out. But here you go. Here is the season 9 coming soon. This is the new logo for next season. And wow. I knew
lightning theme for the Mercedes is pretty cool. The blue.
It's actually our theme for next season.
Yeah, that's cool logo.
It is. It looks very, very cool. I do like it. I just want to say thanks to everyone last season. You, Dido, comms, stewards, everyone, all the drivers, reserve drivers, full-time drivers. Thank you very much. I cannot do this without you guys. So a massive applause to all of you, all the championship winners as well, and constructors, and also the overalls for Mercedes. And if you want your logo like that, then one of those teams that you are in have the opportunity to have your colours as the Rush logo. They do change every season. So this is the 2024 Mercedes car, and then obviously next season will be the 2025 car, wherever team that is. So you have the opportunity to get that up and running. Dio, anything from you, mate?
Yeah, it's been a long one. Obviously, guys, thanks for sticking in, and obviously also getting through this season. I mean, we went a lot longer into the new game, which is always a risk, and it actually, will even up eventually to the end of the season. With this round finishing on round 18, we'll be able to align back with the new game. But yeah, I think everyone is just happy to get off F124 and look at this night as a sign off. And now it's all business. It won't matter. Won't be long before we got our first stream, which is Friday. And I guess for anyone that's watching this that doesn't really know how it's all gonna eventuate, it'll happen really quickly from here. Friday, we are running an evaluation system this season for all divisions. There'll be a 4-week period where you're able to just get on track. There's a minimum of 2 required so that we can see your new pace on this game. You can be moved up, down, left, right, backwards, doesn't really matter. Nothing's official until that end date of those evaluations. Will chuck you in the final divs, and then the rush draft will come around and it will be all hands on deck again. So don't say this is the end. It's going to happen really quickly now. And now we're finally off this dreadful game. We can turn on the new one.
Yeah, definitely. Like Dido said, evaluations are starting. Things will change from next week. So if you have not checked in for Division 1, 2, 3, and 4, then feel free to get involved. This is where we get to see what you're capable of. And it's all going to be programmed. There's a lot of work going behind the scenes to make sure that the evaluations are spot on. So yeah, please spend the time and be a little bit committed for 2 of those evaluation races. 2 evaluation races you need to do. There's obviously 4 weeks, so there should be no excuse to do those 2 races. And then it is, it's back to business then. The draft will then be announced. We'll have all the dates. It's going to be a big night. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, the TPs know who they are now, so they've got a lot of time to start prepping and getting into it. But yeah, no, I'm looking really forward to it. I can't wait to drive the new cars. Can't wait to get streaming again, getting into the comms. There's one more night on Friday night, which is a big night. It's the podcast with myself. So if you've got any questions that you want to ask me on the podcast, then feel free to message Thunderballs or Dido or Josh, any of the directors, with your questions, and they'll pass it on to Thunderballs. And we'll be doing a live podcast, end of podcast, asking me all questions as we did last season about obviously season 8, season 9, or anything related to those seasons or anything else as well. Big up to all of our sponsors as well. AI369, our main sponsor, and also Pagnian, SimLab, and Speed Nation. Speed Nation, unfortunately, will no longer be continuing with them for next season. We will be jumping on board with SRC, so feel free to jump on board them. We'll send you an affiliate code and codes, and I'll get all that sorted. There is a lot of work for us to do now. The rules will be announced after this stream is ended. All roles and all chats will be open, probably not tonight, it'll probably be tomorrow. The logo will go up. Any questions you have regarding the new season or anything, please refer to Dido, myself, or Josh. Anything regarding the stewarding, please refer to Watanabe. Dido, any final thoughts from you before we end the stream?
Nah, man. I think pretty much wrapped everything up tonight. It's been a long one. But yeah, just if anyone's listening, to get involved, guys. We still got a lot of names missing for sign-ups. So yeah, if we can get them all done and we can get back onto this new game as quick as possible, we won't have to think much about this game. But thanks for everyone jumping in tonight. It was a long one, but it was a good one.
It's always a long one, mate. Well done. Thank you very much for hosting and jumping on as always. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in tonight as always. 22 people still being on as well after a 2.5 hour stream. It's near enough the same time as then we normally have a race. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you feel free and you have missed it and you do want to watch it back, and you can fast forward it, no problem. It will be live on YouTube as well. Remember, follow us all over our socials: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, YouTube, and Twitch. And also our biggest one is our Discord. We're still taking signups. We will still be taking signups indefinitely. So if your sign up is not in and you do not have the S9 role, you will not be eligible for the draft, which then means you will not have the opportunity to race full time or whatsoever. And you'll have to wait until silly season, which is a long way away. So thank you very much to everyone for tuning in, and we will see you in season 9 coming soon. Take care and good night.